With me now, CNN sports analyst Christine Brennan, who's also the author of On Her Game, Caitlin Clark and the Revolution in Women's Sports. Christine, I'm so glad you're here. I mean, the WNBA commissioner, Cathy Engelbert, is passing this conversation to a task force rather than issuing a decisive statement. Is a task force the right call?
No, it's not. But the WNBA and Cathy Engelbert, as the commissioner, Laura, has done a terrible job of trying to navigate all kinds of issues since what I would call the Caitlin Clark era, which is the last 3 years. As the interest in the league has grown, the spotlight, you and I have talked about this. There's great players all around, but they never got the attention they deserved. Caitlin Clark comes in, and now there's this focus. And, it's kind of like, it's a blank canvas, and everyone wants to throw something on it, every issue, because of the attention, not because of Caitlin Clark herself, but just how everything has grown so exponentially. This is a tough issue for them. But of course, you've got these 2 players who are clearly mocking the transgender community. We've got to say that right off the top. But also, they're mocking the lack of leadership in the WNBA and the fact that on so many other issues, Cathy Engelbert has been silent or missing in action. Now, the good news is that the international basketball community has given the WNBA the way to go. The FIBA, which is like FIFA for soccer, FIBA for basketball, has a policy that if you've gone through male puberty, you cannot compete in any of their events, World Championships or World Cup basketball. Next month, Caitlin Clark and 11 other players will represent the U.S. at the World Cup. All the WNBA needs to do is just say, we are going to follow the rules that the international governing body has, where 12 of our players will be competing for the U.S. in just a month, less than a month.
Will they do that,
There are so many ways to handle this.
Given how you've talked about the missteps or the silence, do you think that they would indeed do that? It seems like a road they could pursue, but the task force, instead of just making a statement, will she do that as a commissioner?
I don't, well, right now they're not. And you make a great point, Laura, that this league has just been paralyzed on so many things, led by Cathy Engelbert. It's a shame because Cathy Engelbert was a top official at Deloitte, a woman in a man's world, the exact kind of woman that we celebrate, right? But I do think in this case, there has just the missteps and the fact that this league, it's a bit of a conundrum, and it's understandable. The WNBA, as I think you know, we talked about this back around the time of Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick, when he came out and was kneeling on with the terrible things happening, Black Lives Matter, the whole issue that we saw occurring, the WNBA was a month ahead of Colin Kaepernick. The Minnesota Lynx, Maya Moore and company were a month ahead of Kaepernick. Most people don't know that or remember that or even paid any attention. So the WNBA is an activist league. No doubt about it. 74% Black, 30 to 40% gay, and they are very liberal minded. And so now they've got to deal with an issue that is clearly not liberal minded. And so Engelbert has to try to sell that to players who would obviously be for transgender rights. So that's where, again, if you were to go to the international rules, and even the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee, their rules, once Donald Trump issued his executive order on transgender rights, as in no transgender women in women's sports, at that point, the USOC, OPC, chartered by the U.S., had to then go along with Trump. So the U.S. also is giving the WNBA, the USOPC giving the WNBA an out as well. There's a lot of opportunities here.
So here's what the WNBA says. Today's meeting covered a wide range of topics, including ongoing discussions on transgender athletes and the continued hate and vitriol directed at players online. There are no immediate eligibility matters affecting the WNBA. Yes, there are. And we strongly denounce the bad faith efforts to use these topics to demean or marginalize others. In other words, we have no idea how to handle this.
Well, they say there's no matters at hand they have to deal with. There are.
Yes, too.
Because with Enes Kanter and Royce White declaring their eligibility, right. I looked through the 409-page plea bargain, basically sort of constitution that the WNBA has. And it says that to be eligible, you have to be a, quote, woman. But in nowhere in all of that 409 pages does it define what a woman is. So ultimately, when they had a meeting yesterday, they should have just sat down and said, okay, chromosome. Item number one, what does the W in our name stand for?
They don't know.
Woman.
No, they knew what to address, but they don't know how to address it. Remember, our Supreme Court Justice was afraid to answer
Yes.
that question. When is a
Yes.
woman?
Right.
Because when you put yourself into a left-wing corner, you can't paint your way out of it. I just made that up. Can you? That's pretty genius. You can't. So they're stuck in the corner because if they say, okay, ovaries, or they say chromosomes, or a thin foot. Like, what else makes a woman? I can't think of anything.
No Adam's apple.
No Adam's apple, right? Like, if you start doing that.
Let me see your neck.
Yes.
You can play.
Let me see your neck. All right. So, Ainsley, you should have been at that meeting.
Right,
That's
I should've
genius.
been.
Julie in Florida. What you got for us, Julie?
Good afternoon, guys. Thanks a lot for all you do. I have a thought about this. When this female basketball player claims that she's a boy, maybe it's so she can get a prescription for the performance-enhancing drugs just to play better and get more money. But I can probably assure that she has not agreed to addictomy surgery.
What is, I mean, that sounds like it could mean a lot of things with the middle part of that, but what kind of surgery is that?
Add a dick to me.
Clay, you just fell into that one, buddy.
This is like
You just
when
fell into that one.
Julie, that is unbelievable.
Julie is not a medical professional.
And neither is the chairperson of the, oh gosh, what just happened there? And neither is the chairperson of the WNBA. I bet you there's a whole bunch of them that want to have addictomy surgery. It's a word we can now use, SV. We can now say that because I'm pretty sure the censors have not keyed that one in yet. Addictomy. Wow, I love it. We're going to have to make a whole chart about addictomy. This is the third quarter of 2026. It's August of 2026. We're getting ready to head into the closing portion of this year. 250 years of our country being a country. And here we are, I don't know, a couple thousand years since Adam and Eve showed up in the Garden of Eden. And we're back to square one. When Adam looked at that, what is that? And God said, that's a woman. Oh, so for somehow in the last 2,000 years, we have forgotten the originality of the two people. And even if you're not a strong Christian, I guess even if you're not a Christian at all, if you believe in the beginning, the genesis of this world, you have to understand it was either a monkey coming out of the water or whatever, or Adam and Eve. There was no Adam and Steve and Adam's friend that turned into Adisha. There was none. But here we are in 2026, and we have come full circle to the point where we don't know what a woman is. We can't define what a woman is. And we're paying for, you and me are paying for addictomy surgeries to a whole bunch of people. Love that term, addictomy. You see, I think the NBA has another problem. Beyond, and whoever else, beyond defining what a woman is, now we put it back on them. And you can put it back on them. What do I mean by that? Can you define what a trans person is? See, now that's where we need to be pushing this subject, not having them to define women, because we all can define a woman. We all know it's either you have or you have not. That's it. Nope. Okay, then you're a woman. What we need to define are these people who are putting on wigs and running around and saying all of a sudden that they're, no, we need to define that. Because as soon as we define that, we are going to be able to end this insanity. It's complete, utter insanity that's been going on. Want to bring your attention to something in the meeting that the WNBA had, that they had to have the grand poobahs and grand poopies all show up. Hey, how are we going to deal with this? Well, why don't we just say guys can't come? They can't play here. No, can't do that. Why? because the other guys are doing something in bad faith. And I saw this, and it says, the WNBA denounces bad faith trans claims after ex-WN players Enes Kanter Freedom and Royce White declare themselves women and vow to enter the 2027 WNBA draft. It's bad faith. To which I said, faith? The entire movement is bad faith. There is nothing real about it. This is completely manufactured and packaged to thrust upon the American people and force us into, playing cosplay with the people's insanity. I'm tired of it. You got to be tired of it too. And now the ultimate challenge has been put forth. You can call it mocking. You can call it bad faith, but you can only say it's bad faith or mocking because it's mockable. And the lady on CNN, well, they're obviously mocking, the whole trans thing, to which every one of us would say, no, it's not. You're mocking women. You're mocking men. Men are like, what are you talking about? Women are like, what are you talking about? You're mocking us. And so we need to turn it right back around on them as much as we can to say, it's you guys. You're trying to figure out a way to put the proverbial round ball into a square hole, and it's not working. It will never work. No matter if you put the baloney stick down there or what, it's not going to work. It's not designed that way. There's nothing medically capable of turning somebody from one thing to the other. Your Frankensteinian nightmare has been revealed. You are living in something where now people are no longer afraid to say, that's a girl. That's a boy. You tried very hard. You shut us down on Twitter. You shut us down on Facebook. You shut us down here on YouTube. But now, here we are in 2026, and people are like, I've never had any doubt. The only doubt, the only mocking was because you guys forced it on us and told us we had to take our medicine and we had to swallow it. There's no such thing as addictomy surgery, despite what everybody's trying to tell us, despite what a Supreme Court justice couldn't even answer. Matter of fact, that should have been it for her. There's got to be some standards that we give our elected officials. Can you tell us what a woman is? And if it says anything other than that's what or that's one, then you should be disqualified. We allow, again, the Democrats beat us. I've said it many times. These people looked into the rules, they looked into the laws, and they found the discrepancies and said there's nothing they can do. If we start electing socialists, there's nothing they can do. If we start having women or men pretending to be women, there's nothing you can do to stop us. We're going to turn this entire country upside down on its head, squeeze it, shake it up, and toss it out. If I can get you to take a jab, if I can get you to think that there's something called an addictomy, if I can get you to think that men can be women, if I can get you to do those things, well, making you agree to socialism is kind of easy. You see, once you started nodding your head saying, yes, 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 okay, yes, I'll do that too. Oh, you want me? Oh, yes. Now we are in the nodding stage where we got to hold still. You can't keep nodding anymore. You have got to be the people who stand up and say, I've had it right to here. I'm not going any further. Is he mocking either one of those guys, Royce or Enes? Are they mocking the WNBA? Are they mocking the whole addictomy movement? I love the word. You damn right they are. You damn right they are, because it's mockable. It is a caricature. It is cosplay. It is Halloween. You know, who's got the best costume this year? Oh, that dude does, because he thinks he could. Oh, he really thinks he's a girl. Yes, it's mockable. So don't sit back and clutch your pearls because it seems to you that someone's mocking this whole thing. I would clutch my pearls and say it was mockable from the beginning. I want you to hear something that Enos Cantor put out, I think today.
The commissioner of the WNBA messaged every GM, and they're still trying to figure out what a woman is. And they are actually having a meeting this week. It's been around for 30 years. So think about how disrespectful that statement to all the players who actually played in that league in their history. So if they can't define what a woman is,
if you can't define what it is, why did you accept the title of WNBA? The league has been around, like he said, for decades. And nobody ever thought of this, and now it turned into, as that lady from CNN said, so don't bother me about labeling, it's turned into a black lesbian sport. Let's be honest. Not mocking, it is what it is. And now they feel like they are threatened, like their fiefdom is falling apart. And what I find most interesting is the amount of cosplay, the amount of mocking that goes on in that league pales in comparison to all the other stuff that they do. Mocking the addictomy crew, mocking your race. How many times have you seen black lesbian women with blonde hair down to their waist with giant caterpillars on their eyes in that league playing basketball? What? You're making a mockery of even that. You are just cosplaying at that point. Take off the thing and play basketball. We're not here. It's not a fashion show. Can you imagine? Just think to yourself, imagine that, you're in the NFL and out on the field, somebody's running around and they've got a blonde wig hanging out the back of their hair, or whatever little hair they may have, and it's all fake. The whole, black is natural. What happened to that? Yeah, I got no hair. I used to, but I'm not going to put on a wig, and I'm not going to put on these things because all of that is mocking who I am. You have decided to create a league of mockery, and now you're mad that you're getting mocked. It is a clown show of epic proportions, and it has to end, and we need to tear the wall down completely because it's spilling over to other things. Let's continue with this mockery.
Clay Travis, okay, she clotheslined her. Could have hurt her, could have injured her. That was beyond a flagrant foul. I think suspended for the year would be appropriate myself, but she didn't stand by her player. If I was Sophie Cunningham, I would have gone to the ownership of the Indiana Fever and demanded to be traded that night or the next morning.
I think that's a very valid position. Several things, Sean. Stephanie White said, love will win and go to hell in the same minute and a half. Just, this woman is in over her head.
The hate, the fear-mongering, the divisiveness, the stuff that's trying to hijack our league will not win.
You hijacked your league, and they're using words again against us like they're, arrows in a weapon. They're taking a bow or bow and trying to use words that we never used before. Hate, diversity, divisiveness. What the hell is that? It means nothing to me. I don't hate you. I'm quite indifferent. I'm not being divisive. I'm looking at a clown show. It is what it is. You created it. You decided to get on stage. And again, many of us grew up listening to the greatest rock band in the world. You want the best, you got the best. Kiss. And Kiss would come out in full makeup regalia with the big boots, doing everything. And we loved it. But we knew it was a show. We knew it was a persona. We know they didn't walk around in big platform boots with capes and starships and big, long, drooly red tongues. And we knew we were paying to watch a show. What these women don't seem to understand is people are now paying good money to look at a product that they think is basketball. They're not there for hate and diversity, inclusion, and XYZ. No, they're not. You have decided you want to make that what the league is all about. I don't care if the women are lesbian. That's up to them. Play a frickin' game of basketball. You decided to force your ideology onto people, and now you're trapped.
It won't win. We are united. We are connected. We will not be divided. Every day these women put their on the line. Every day. When they go low, we go high. Love will win.
You sound like someone's running for office. Love will win. What are you talking about? Now, understand, I cut it, but she's talking. She just said love will win. That's what we're all about here in the WNBA. We're here about love and equity and inclusion and just big tent stuff, as we keep hearing. We're here about love. You sure about that?
Grace will win. Humility will win. And kindness will win. I stand by them. I will always stand by them. Everybody else can go to hell.
Did the love just get up and walk out? I'm trying to figure it out. The love just left the room. The love is no longer here. It's like Elvis at the end of his concerts. Elvis has left the building. Love has left the building. You can all go to hell. Wow. Imagine my surprise after hearing grace, humility, love, inclusion. Oh, you're saying the right things. Now go to hell. Huh? That doesn't match. They're worried. They're terrified. They know this is crumbling in front of them. And of course, they're going to blame one person, and that's Donald Trump, who put this entire stuff on blast. We are not going to have men playing women's sports. We are going to tear down that facade. And every single one of us heard him say it, and we voted for this. So if you're telling us to go to hell, I guess we could turn around and say, we're going to destroy your league. We are not going to let this go. I hope Enos and both Royce take this thing to the hilt. And then if it doesn't work, I hope they sue them into oblivion.
I think, Sean, you and I and maybe some other people out there with a little bit of extra cash, we need to go buy the Indiana Fever. We need to fire the entire coaching staff, management, say to Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham, we've got your back. What do you need in order to win a championship? We're behind you. A couple of other things here. I don't even know if you've seen this.
One thing they can have is Ennis Cantor freedom. There you go.
First round draft pick. And this is where I'm going. I don't even know if you've seen this yet, Sean. WNBA released a statement. They had an official meeting today to try to determine what a woman is. This is 100% real. I'm not even making this up. Here are some of the things they said. They attacked the, quote, hate and vitriol online, bad faith efforts to, quote, demean or marginalize others. You know what?
Now, what's very interesting, as he was reading what they posted, it's meant to demean others. Who's it meant to demean? These two guys, who are now women, decide they want to get paid to play basketball. It didn't work out in the NBA, or they retired. And they're like, here, I think I could still perform very well in this league. How is it demeaning? Because are you now saying, because you have to be able to use their words against them, are you saying that being a trans man is demeaning? Because there is no definition. As I said earlier, don't worry about defining what a man and a woman is. Now you need to define this creature that you have birthed in your Frankensteinian lab and try to tell the rest of the people that kind of transformer, that's not who we're talking about. We're talking about this kind. What kind is that? Rachel Levine? Caitlyn Jenner? Oh, you wouldn't want Caitlyn Jenner running around on that court. I don't know if Caitlyn can shoot, but he's probably faster and stronger than all these other ones. What? How are you going to decipher what the demeaning is? Is there a certain test that you have to take that says, I am more, I don't even know.
They didn't come to agreement on, Sean, what a woman is. They met all day. They still can't figure out how to define what a woman is. So far as I know, Royce White and Enos Kanter count as women.
Well, maybe they should bring in six-gender Tallarico. Maybe he can help them out and explain it all to them.
He probably could play power forward.
By the way, any
WNBA.
update?
So now, some of you wonder, well, Barry, why are you talking about this? You know, we're talking politically. One, President Trump has made it a point, no men in women's sports. Number two, as Sean mentioned, this whole Tallarico thing. How come when Tallarico said there's 16, different genders, that's not demeaning? That's not mocking? You applaud that. You embrace that. Oh, all of a sudden, what are the six that he's talking about, the six genders that Tallarico's talking about, and which one of those six can play in a WNBA? But he's not demeaning. The two guys who are exposing your idiocy, those are demeaning. They didn't say anything wrong. They've been very quiet, demure, woman-like as they've been speaking. Nobody's screaming, nobody's threatening. What's demeaning? and that's how this has become political.
Did they take your $10 million offer that last year's champion, Vegas, that you would be able to pick your own high school boys team to play the champions last year, and you'd give $10 million if they won? Did they take you up?
They have yet to respond. Do you know who has responded, Sean? WNBA hasn't. Dozens of high school boys teams are begging to be able to play the WNBA champions for $10 million. I think that tells you a lot. By the way, $10 million is more than the entire team makes in a year, Sean. The salary cap is $7 million. One game, they win it, they get 10. No response.
So what he did, Clay Travis, he challenged the WNBA. It's mocking and demeaning that if you play a high school team of his choice, you don't even have to lose or win. Just play the high school team of his choice, and he will give the WNBA team $10 million. We can't do that. We can't. 10 million? You think we should? No, we can't do that because those kids are going to wax our asses. And we won't have a shot. These kids are going to be dunking and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Y'all can't shoot. The entire league is a mockery. The entire league at this point has become political, which is why we're talking about it.
That is unfathomable to me. It really is. I mean, I think that was a very generous, gracious offer on your part. And you are, in terms of high degree of confidence, are you 100% confident your team would win?
1 billion% confident. You know how I am, Sean? You would take the other side. Nashville Balls, best team.
I won more bets against you.
You are, and most inclusive.
I gotta go.
You also, at this point, have to wonder. You have to wonder what they're hiding. What are they protecting? What I mean by that is, because at this point, the way they're reacting, is it possible that it's already happened? Is it possible that there are already cosplaying going around and there's already a few playing in the league? Are there any addictomy waiting list members already playing in the league? Nothing is making sense. This is very simple. Why would you want to keep the door open for addictomy patients when there's supposedly none playing anyway? If it is a women's league, why not close the door and leave them out? Unless, of course, they're already inside the big tent, as the Democrats keep saying. I personally don't agree with that lifestyle. You may have a different feeling. You may like, hey, each to his own, but that's fine. Let's say I was a huge advocate for addictomy patients. And I said to myself, you know what? These people are super. They're fantastic. I still wouldn't want them playing in my sport. See, that's the problem I'm having with all this. Every single player in the league could say, I am completely for it. They are some of my best friends. Everything works out great. You should meet some. They're just some of the nicest people. And I would nod accordingly. Yes, okay, great. But finish the sentence. But they shouldn't be playing in a women's league. It's very simple to do, but they won't say it, which is leading a lot of people at this point wondering, are there already some playing in there? Remember the lady from CNN. The international code test is that you have to have not been through puberty as a male back when you were a kid. That is the testing criteria for the Olympics and all the international play. So they've got 12 players that are going to, play into international tournaments. All of them can prove that they went through puberty as girls. Why not just do that for the entirety of the league? And to prove to you that this is becoming extremely political, it was on the Charlie Kirk show.
Number one, I find it offensive that they have any comments on my faith whatsoever. I'm a pro-life Christian, black, trans, lesbian, and they have no right to speak on my faith. That's very personal. But
oh my gosh. Yes, he's mocking them. Good. They deserve it.
But even more importantly, is like to continue to deny black, transgender, lesbians is tantamount to genocide. What you just witnessed with the WNBA's response in the public is harmful. It's dangerous for all of us trans people, and it's tantamount to genocide.
I totally agree, and I got to ask on a personal level.
What is Charlie Kirk doing right now? Charlie, tell us, your show is platforming Royce White. Oh my goodness. Charlie Kirk's show. They're sitting in Charlie Kirk's studio and he's letting that audience, which still caters to a lot of young people, look at this. Now you got to start questioning things, people, especially you youngsters. You see, this was the way to attack them. Not protesting, using the Alinsky rules against themselves. Go after what they believe in and turn it around and make them defend what they believe in. That is a tenet of Alinsky's rules for radicals.
I've seen the comments. You're being misgendered. You're being hated on. And I find that really despicable. Yeah. A lot of dead naming,
a lot of misgendering.
Yeah.
I never knew. Look, I always talked about this cultural wedge issue as gender proceeds from biology. We have to have a shared reality when it comes to men and women. If we don't, it's pretty much pulled out the Jenga piece and baseline for us to have any meaningful conversations about the human condition or human existence. But I guess I was wrong. Obviously, I was wrong. It's a revelation that I was wrong, and it's liberating.
I'm looking at the chat, and so I gotta see if I could bring this up real quick. Somebody's like, I got my money on the asteroid. It's over. It's done. Waiting for the horn, Gabriel, because it is that bad. It's 2026 and we're watching this and it's become a part of our political dialogue. And it is. It's the asteroid, the horn, the coming back, the angels, everything, because these Democrats have lost their frickin' minds.
I had a transgender locked down inside of me for so long. It's really cured a lot of my other physical and mental health ailments.
It's just too good. We now know when President Trump made that statement, when he gave that executive order, he made it political at that point. And that's probably one of the things they're having a problem with because they're having to defend it. 6 months ago, nobody talked about it. Now President Trump says, I want them out, which shouldn't concern any of those women in the WNBA. That's the funniest thing at this point is, what are you worried about? All it is make a statement. Hey, guys, and appendectomy people, they shouldn't be in the league. Very simple.
A new survey released this week by the Pew Research Center finds 3/4 of Americans saying they are, quote, uncomfortable with trans.
75%, which is probably an understated survey. Not a poll, not a political poll. Pew Research did this and found out that 75%, I'll even give them that number, 75% of Americans are end it. And I'm going to prove to you after this piece why it's such a big deal to be talking about this. You just stay with me here.
Athletes participating in female athletics, but that isn't stopping the WNBA. Remarks from league leaders suggest they may be open to allowing trans athletes to play in the league.
This is incredible. I mean, Newsmax chief Washington correspondent James Rosen is live with more details. Good morning, James.
Kyle and Krisha, good morning to you. In terms of public messaging, until yesterday, the WNBA had pledged only to study whether to admit trans players and to do so, quote, thoughtfully and in line with the collective bargaining agreements that govern eligibility. This week, however, Kathy Engelbert, the former CEO at Deloitte, who has served as the league's commissioner since 2019, convened a session of the league's anti-hate task force. The spokesperson said the group discussed transgender sports and the, quote, vitriol directed at certain players online.
What players are getting... Oh, man, this woman probably makes $500,000 or more per year, and she cannot make that definition. She can't say it. Somebody's holding her feet to the fire. I don't know, like somebody mentioned a pharmaceutical company, the Democrats, the LGBTQ, ISSIPPI community. Somebody's saying, don't dare say it.
Are no immediate eligibility matters affecting the WNBA. The statement issued to the New York Post yesterday continued, adding that league officials, quote, strongly denounce the bad faith efforts to use these topics to demean or marginalize others. All this comes after Sophie Cunningham, the popular guard for the Indiana Fever, subject of all kinds of memes and merch, spoke out in opposition to trans players joining the WNBA, telling ESPN last month it is a matter of, quote, common sense that women, quote, shouldn't have to go against biological men. With Fever teammate Caitlin Clark, by far the most famous and celebrated female basketball star in history, Cunningham has helped elevate the league's visibility and revenues. And these factors in turn have made the pair, in a series of recent incidents, targets for some hard fouls. Most recently, Dejanai Carrington, a guard for the Chicago Sky, was ejected for an egregious foul against...
Mocking, huh? They're worried about players who need addict surgery being mocked. So I'm asking all of you to just look at the picture of this woman and tell me who's mocking who. She has every right to have her fake blonde locks flowing. She has every right to be playing with the caterpillars on her eye. And we have every right to say, what in the hell are you doing, girl? What the hell does any of that have to do with playing basketball?
Cunningham. Carrington later denouncing, quote, white privilege in the league's officiating, while denying she was referring specifically to the foul against Cunningham. In that incident, Carrington's left arm smacked Cunningham in the face, hurling her to the floor. Cunningham had recently called out another African-American player for a flagrant foul committed against Caitlin Clark, another incident where the league was accused of racial prejudice in officiating. That same Pew Research Center poll, by the way, also found that 2/3 of Americans, 66%, support the formation of a law or a policy that would confine trans athletes to competition on teams that match their sex at birth.
Now, Trump knows that. President Trump obviously has seen these numbers. It is a winning number. There's no doubt that this is a win for us, in addition to our children and grandchildren. I keep saying we need to get in the fight. This is a fight that each one of you can jump into and each one of you can help win. We've got this. We've got these people on the ropes. We have to choke them out metaphorically. We have to put the boot to the neck metaphorically and make them surrender. This is how we win. Finding those battles and going after them. And I know some of you guys, well, it's not that big of a battle. We got this. We got Save the America Act, one at a time. Why do you think President Trump made it an issue if it wasn't important? Because it saves our kids. It helps with the population. We stop indoctrinating kids. We keep telling kids, no, this is who you are. Go forth and multiply. That's why this is important.
Appears to be performance, publicity stunt, whatever you want to call it. The WNBA commissioner said that player eligibility remains the same and preserving the integrity of our game and ensuring fair competition will always remain among the league's highest priorities.
Okay. The integrity of the game. Go ahead. Face the integrity of the game. Understand that's what we're actually enhancing. That's what we're supporting. We're supporting the complete integrity of sport. We're not trying to tear that down. We are absolutely saying, yes, let's keep sport at a higher level. See, what these people don't understand and what many of you may not understand is I mention the rules for radicals all the time. I'm going to do a whole show on that, but I want to show them to you real quick here. These are Saul Alinsky's rules for radicals. If you've never read them, it's very important. Number one, power is not only what you have. Now understand, this is what they use, just to make sure. This is the rules of radicals that Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, these are the rules that they use to impose their will on us. Like, all right, so what if we turned it around and used these same rules on them? They've been doing it to you. With probably you don't even know, they've been doing it to you for decades. And as I read a couple, and I'll stop, I think it's number 4. Yeah, number 4, which I love. Now this is where you turn it around on them and start using it on them. So, number 1, power is not only what you have, but what the enemy thinks you have. Number 2, never go outside the experience of your people. I'll get to number 4 here. Number 3, whenever possible, go outside the experience of the enemy. And here, number 4, we won't go over all of them right now. Number 4, make the enemy live up to its own book of rules. What book of rules do you have in your life that you have seen under attack over the last 10, 15 years? You have one. We all do. It's the Bible. They are so quick to say, oh, the Bible says this. You got to be this way. You just, see, this is your rule. Oh, yeah, look at that rule right there. Thou shalt not. Don't do it. But now we have to turn it around on them. We need to use their rules against them. You're in the WNBA. You're in the Women's National Basketball Association. You now have to be a women's league, albeit number 4 on the list. And we're going to go over all these in another, probably this weekend. But number 4 is exactly what they try to impose on every single one of us at any chance that they get. Many of you may not have even seen these rules. When I unveil them to you on Saturday, you're going to be like, whoa, this is what they've been doing? Oh, yeah. Oh, you've been subject to these rules for quite some time. They beat you over the head with your own book of rules. And now their book of rules is under peril. And so we've got them right where we want them.
How likely is this move going to advance the league's discussions here? What do you think about that?
I think that the PA, the Players Association, as well as the league, will probably be a little more clear about what they mean by women playing in the WNBA.
How do you get more clear? You got my attention. I'd love to know how you get more clear about the women playing in the WNBA. Please do tell me.
I think, unfortunately, those two retired players were looking for some attention and trying to prove a point. And they may have gotten the attention and proved the point they wanted, but they've just added to what I believe is such a disheartening time for a league that's been around for 30 years, correct? And it's still very young in terms of in terms of what a league should look like, a professional league should look like. And they have just gotten to the point where they finally have the attention that they deserve, that they've worked.
So talking about rules, by the way, full disclosure, she and I have had run-ins on X back when it was Twitter. It's Carrie Campion. Carrie, love to know. I know you're a black sister, and you stand for all that. Where'd you get the hair? Using the rules, your book of rules, Black Power, all the stuff that you guys spew out, funny. Why are you trying to look like a white woman? It's your rules. You think it's prejudice. I'm just asking a question. Why did you have to make yourself into a, Caucasian perspective? Gotta hammer these rules right back at these people.
So hard for all of these years, and people are co-opting this message. Now, Pamela, I know you know this, but when this league started, these women, it was sweat equity. It was for the love of the game. They were making maybe $15,000 a year, and they had other side jobs. They were doing it because they loved to play basketball, because there was no professional league for women. And so now we have people changing the entire conversation, and they don't deserve this.
He didn't change the conversation. He's forcing you into defining what a woman is. That is the essence of the conversation. The WNBA. There's nobody trying to sidestep anything. It's straight in front of you. And so as they're talking on all these stations, I'm like, they're doing nothing but making it worse for themselves.
Really unfortunate. And the true fans, the fans who have been here from the beginning, not these flyover fans who just joined, who are causing the ruckus, are really disappointed, because there's some excellent basketball being played by these ladies, and they will continue to keep the main.
They can say that because of copyright. We can't show you the excellent basketball that these ladies play. That's why Clay Travis was so adamant. I'll give you $10 million if you can beat a high school team, because most of us have seen this excellent basketball. We're not allowed to refute it by showing you some of the excellent basketball that takes place on a nightly basis. If you look, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
The main thing, and try to quiet this narrative, what is a woman playing in sports? I think we shouldn't even answer those questions. I understand Sophie felt like she had to say something.
We shouldn't even have to answer these questions. Well, then stop calling it the WNBA, and maybe just, here's how you do it, change it to the TNBA. Or the ENBA, everybody NBA. What do you mean you shouldn't have to define it? You picked that name. You decided to call yourselves a Women's National Basketball Association, but now we shouldn't have to defend it. It's Twilight Zone stuff.
There's no way in today's political climate that you can answer a question like that without someone else giving you some push and some shove about what you're really trying to say.
All right, I want to.
It's not my fault. It's not my fault. Everybody is seeing it right now. And the problem is not the players, but the people in the front offices are starting to get hit hard. I mean, very hard.
The current WNBA collective bargaining agreement says only players who are women are eligible, but it does not further define women or specify criteria involving gender identity, sex assigned at birth, hormone levels, or physical characteristics. It also does not say that self-identification alone automatically makes a player eligible. So because that's open for debate, it required a response from WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert, who sent a memo to teams last Friday saying the issue would be discussed by a task force of team president and general managers. The WNBA separately defended inclusion and condemned hate while saying the union, quote, will not be used as political pawns. Here's Stephen A. talking. It's too damn late. If the rules were more finite and clear, you wouldn't.
Your rules were, if they were more finite and clear, your rules couldn't be used against you. That's what he's saying. If you had cleared it up at the beginning, you would have this book of rules that you try to use against us. Now you're having to defend your own ideology, which is deserved.
Have to have a meeting of team presidents and general managers. You're the commissioner, you should already know. We literally are living in a society where there has to be a debate involving a collective bargaining agreement that explicitly states that the league is for women. Only players who are women are eligible to play in the WNBA. So one could easily surmise, okay, you're a woman, that makes you eligible. If you're not a woman, you're not eligible. It's simple and plain. What's the complication?
There is no complication. It's such a stupid thing. Now, I want to let you guys know, because there's probably a bunch of you who watch the show here all the time, and you may be wondering to yourself, Barry, why are you talking about the WNBA? You know, we want to talk about politics. It's what's most important. We see this trending on X. We see people talking here or there. Well, I want to take you back, I don't know, 3-4 months ago. And I told you, I specifically told you, things are going to begin changing in late July, early August. I said to you, once sports started coming back, specifically football, the eyeballs are going to go away from politics. And I've said it many times since then. And, you know, if people have left the channel because they didn't want to hear it, then the people who don't want to hear it don't understand what really matters to Americans. Americans are living their lives. And what's going on social media is the most giant cosplay I've ever seen. They are completely bamboozling you. They are completely hoodwinking you. Nobody gives a shit about affordability. Nobody gives a shit about socialism. You're falling into a trap. Live your lives. And I'm going to prove it to you with data. Now, you remember me saying, you know, once the NFL started, this was going to happen. Stop watching news, because all they're doing is just trying to just put stuff out there. Same thing in X. So I'm going to explain to you why I opened today's show with the WNBA. Even if somebody on another guy's channel called me grifter, so what? I know what people want. How do I know? Because I have data. So let me show you something. I don't know if any of you are familiar. I introduced many people to X. I don't know if you're familiar with the platform called Google Trends. And Google Trends is sort of like, it's funny, I say Google and my phone's like, what do you want? Stop, phone. Trends is what you can see, what people are actually searching for and looking for in real time. And you can chart that trends over a period of months, years. And I decided to get on, I don't want to say G Trends, and I wanted to see, what are people actually interested in right now? What is most important to them? So I put in the terms socialism, the Iran war. Oof, a lot of people must be interested in the Iranian war. Affordability. Everything we hear is affordability. Football, I put in. And I put in the WNBA. And you guys can play around with it yourself and use different terms, but you're going to be shocked. So this is what I found this morning. The yellow line that's way up in the air, is the WNBA. The line at the very, very bottom that looks like a flat line, like something is dead. That red line is the Iranian war. The purple line, which is just above, I'm sorry, I was wrong. The yellow line is football. That's what the yellow line. The yellow line is football. My bad. Football is way ahead of everything else. The blue line, which is number 2, is the WNBA. And all the other ones that are flatlining, those are all the political subjects. Socialism, dead. Iranian war, dead. affordability, dead. As you look at that, you realize, and hopefully now light bulbs went off and you're like, we've been bamboozled. And Barry was right. He told us come August, nobody was going to care about politics. So how can affordability be so important when it doesn't even rate as high as the WNBA? Doesn't come close to the end. It's not even worthy of looking at, comparing it to football. And this is just the United States. So it's not the international football. That's just the United States right there. And you can look for yourself. This is over, I forget what day period. This is over, I think, a 5-day period. What is it? Yeah, last week. So the last 7 days. That's what you're looking at. You can think that affordability means a whole lot. You can think that the Iranian war is so prevalent in people's mind. You can think socialism, which is all we talk about politically, is so important to people when it's not. It's easy to get caught up on what's going on X. It is very easy to get consumed by what the people are talking about until you realize X isn't real life. That's real life. Those are actual people trying to find information on a specific subject. That's what matters to people. And also, I'm pretty sure the reason why the WNBA is up there is because President Trump put a spotlight on them. And so you can see immediate reactions. You can actually see when it spiked a couple of days ago when President Trump and Enos Cantor and Royce White started talking about it. There's no denying data when you look at it. There's denying things because you might feel a certain way, but you might not. You might be in a very, very small minority of people. And X tries to amplify with an algorithm those who want to see those subjects. If you want to see stuff about the Iranian war, it's not going to be flatlining because the algorithm is intent on giving you the information that you already said, I want to see. So to you, it's like, wow, I'm getting all these posts about Iranian war because you clicked on it. Like the guy Abdul, when he was telling everybody, yeah, I keep getting these OnlyFans things. And everybody was like, you're getting them because you're clicking on them. If you don't click on them, you think I'm wrong, go open your computer in incognito mode. Try to look around and see, and your complete timeline would be different. Or open up an alternate timeline. Create a second free account. The reason I wanted to cover this today is because it's what people want to hear, even if it's not everybody in this audience. So that's where I wanted to go with that. And also happened to coincide with something that Vice President J.D. Vance talked about today, which we'll get to in a second. Hey, no, man. I'm sorry.
Good afternoon.
I'm sorry. I said, man. I can't assume that anymore. How are you identifying today?
I'm a 100% man, except for like Richard Hertz. He's calling in about an addictomy. Get it, Richard Hertz?
I got it. I got exactly what you were saying. It's crazy.
Oh my gosh, what a clown show! I mean, somebody's right. The asteroid's ready to come and just wipe us all out. Let's go back to the dinosaurs.
Yeah. I mean, my feeling is that all of this is based upon a way to cull the population, to get people to irreparably harm themselves so they can never breed and things of that nature, and then try to force it on everybody that it's okay. Okay, it's not insanity. Yeah. This is just one of the 14 different crazy stuff. All right, so
I have a couple things. Cut one is about the Trump White House has launched that fraud tracker. Remember, you and I were talking like, when are they going to track it? When are we going to have it? So got the story first, and then the next cut is actually the website we can show people. So anyway, Trump White House just launched the fraud tracker. I've been putting it in the chats. Confirms a whopping $230 billion in fraud already. Here's some of the totals: SBA 123 billion, HHS 96 billion, labor 7 billion, education, I'm sure it's more than that, 2 billion, and you can see the couple others. So on the next cut, you can actually show it what it looks like, Barry. The next link.
Actually, I have
it. Was it too big for you?
No, I think,
okay.
let me see something. I have it, when you told me about it, I pulled it up. Let me see if it'll fit in this window that we have here. Yeah, there it is.
It's pretty big. Okay. So yeah, so folks, I'll post it in the chat throughout the show. You can actually go to it yourself. You can see all the agencies where they've found fraud, and I'm sure this map will have a lot more red dots on it as they find more. But the key takeaway is,
as you can see, I'm zooming out and zooming in, so you can track the different agencies as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they've gotten a total of $230 billion in fraud already, and there's going to be a lot more. So I thought that was pretty interesting. So now you can track it yourself if you want.
So let me show people how to use it. So there's a bunch of red dots here that represent different agencies. So if you click on the red dot, down below, you're going to see which agency it is. Like this one in particular is for the VA. And it says 135 million. I can't see how the letters are small, but 135 million, and the far right is 690. Can you see what those numbers are?
Yes, 2 billion was stopped, transferred, and it looks like 607 million enforced.
Wow. And I think each one of these red things brings up another agency. Yep. So this one's HHS.
Yeah.
And so you can see that 30 billion. What's this one? USDA. That's interesting. So that's the farming and food. What is DOL? What is DOL? Labor. Department of Labor.
Yeah, labor.
Okay.
So they had 7 billion uncovered, stopped 2.5 billion, and enforced 1.6 billion. So yeah, this is a way to. I'm sure you won't see this being shown on CNN or MS now.
Mm-mm.
Hell no.
I bet you this education number goes way up.
Oh yeah, they got to get rid of it. There's so much fraud in that organization.
HUD's a big one. 300. What's it say? 329 identified. 83 million clawed back. Is that what it says?
Yep. Yeah, and then 83 enforced. Yep.
Wow. And then what's the last one? DHS. It's billions, billions and billions and billions. Oh my gosh, that's absolutely
money that we all paid for that went to somebody else's pockets.
Ugh.
Speaking of which, somebody won the Powerball last night. I hope it wasn't a Somali trickster.
Watch it be somebody from California, and nobody's going to know who the person is or anything. All right.
It was actually Illinois, Barry.
Oh, wow. Okay. Of course, it's a blue state. Okay. All right. So this is about Bill Pulte. So he went back to his housing director job now that the other guy got confirmed as the DNI. So what's he got here?
So he's launching an investigation into the Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac that's allowing Sharia law financing for homes. He says, we're looking into this right now. He says on the Fannie Mae's list is a mortgage called Musaraka Islamic Finance Mortgages. I mean, talk about a red flag. Ding, ding, ding. So Sharia does not belong in America, as we all agree here.
Now, does that mean we were funding the Musharaka Islamic Finance mortgages? Is that what that's saying? That's coming out?
It sounds like it for allowing mortgages. Well, I mean, okay, so yesterday somebody posted in a super chat that they're going to have those foot washing stations at the airport, and I clicked on it to see who was paying for it. It's privately funded, even though it's in an airport. You can go and you can create your own, put something up in an airport as well, but it's privately funded. So you know who that's being funded by, obviously, right? So.
And so I just clicked on Natalie Winter's report. So here's her actual report. Here it is. 5 o'clock, and we got the thunder coming. Okay. So Natalie says this: Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac both accommodated Sharia law compliant home financing. Fannie Mae even has a specific loan code for the Mushraka Islamic finance mortgages. Freddie Mac explicitly recognizes financing designed to comply with. I can't. I just can't, man.
Oh. It needs to be stopped. I mean,
they buried all of this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, launching an investigation. How about we just stop it? I mean, I'm sure I'm going to follow up on the story to see where it goes. So I'll update it as I find out more for you.
She's got another one here too. She says the USDA has been spending millions to build Muslim halal food pipeline into American public schools. This isn't just funding a few alternative lunches. Washington is financing the producers, the halal slaughterhouses, and a halal meal production lab for K through 12 schools. You see what we're up against? They have buried so many programs. These programs are in deep, and
yeah, there's no pork on that menu.
Oh, he didn't mean it. Yeah, he did.
I did.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I just can't with these people. This it's just too much. It's way too much. It's crazy.
Well, look at the next story about El Sayed. I mean, this one is.
Oh my gosh.
That's cut number 3, I believe, or
this guy. This guy. Good.
So, I mean, if the things he's done already and said already is not enough, it's now come out that he was exposed when he was overseeing that animal slaughterhouse that it unalived over 4,000 dogs and cats under his watch. He served as the executive director and health officer of the Detroit Health Department and claimed to have fixed the system. That includes a dog mistakenly being unalived while it was only supposed to be quarantined for rabies. I mean, oh man. These poor pets. Some of the data was attempted to be kept hidden, of course, so not a surprise. So this guy is dirty and dangerous as the day is long, man.
Speaking of dirty, it was breaking as we were going on the air. I'm going to go to a spot here real quick, but if you can look it up, I understand. I was sitting here and my mouth was just wide open going, we live in an alternative universe. From what I understand, if you can find the story, Graham Plattner, Maine's favorite Nazi, is getting back in the race.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, no. I'll come back to you for that, SB, because that's insane.
All right, I'll have it for you.
All
right,
right.
Sounds
All
good.
right, everybody, because that is absolutely, I mean, and he's going to take votes away from the other Democrat, which makes it even funnier. Is like, why would you put this guy anywhere near? I don't get it. I don't know what these people are doing. I don't think they know what they're doing. That's the thing with it. Crazy. Let me talk to you real quick about Lear Capital, if I can find the right thing, and that's the one I want to show you. Let me tell you about Lear Capital. If you find it hard to really understand all the technical information regarding the economy and the markets, it's not your fault. More than likely, no one took the time to educate you on the difference between either a bond or a stock, never mind gold and silver. But now you don't have to feel like that at all. My friends at Lear will help you learn about gold and silver at your pace before you jump in. They are making it easier for you to make an educated and informed decision about gold and silver. Now, all you have to do is simply text the code BARRY to 43343. From there, you'll be immediately put into a call queue, and you're going to get some information sent right back to your phone where you can jump on it and download immediately. You'll get the link sent to you where you can download and sign up for receive a free investor kit guide. Once you fill out the form, the investor kit will be emailed to you immediately. So now learning about silver and gold is extremely convenient, completely easy, and free. Just text the code BARRY to 43343. And I wanted to show you something. I know that one lady that said something on X was kind of pissed off with me because she says, I'm a grifter. I guess she doesn't know what the word grifter is, but I'm a proud grifter. if that's what she wants to say. In any event, wanted to show you this. Talk about data and actual data. This is, I'm going to go back to the 1 day, and it shows minus 164. This is the silver. But look at the last 5 days, up 3%. Look at the last 30 days, up 11.5%. When you're working with data and you're understanding trends, there were some people when it got down to like 52, 53, we're all freaking out. And I'm like, chill, it's coming. And now if you're familiar with trend lines, what does that tell you? That's all I'm going to say. That should be indicative of, you can see on July 31st, things started shooting up. So go ahead, get your information. Go ahead and text the code Barry to 43343 and get your special report. You don't have to spend a dime. Just start learning what to look for. I'll be back in 90 seconds.
Sent you the platinum story, Barry.
Back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
Here from Minnesotans all across the state.
Okay, so you support the law as is, no limit. So if a 10-year-old wanted it, you would be okay with that?
Let me be clear, Pam. Yeah. I want to be clear that these, medical decisions absolutely should be made between a family and their doctor. Period. Full stop.
Meanwhile. Hey, everybody, this is Vice President J.D. Vance. I'm here with my friends and colleagues, of course, our great Health and Human Services Secretary, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and Admiral Brian Christine, the Assistant Secretary for Health. Parents bring their children to doctors because they trust them. They trust doctors to tell them the truth, and they trust hospitals to put their children ahead of ideology and profit. But when that trust gets violated, parents deserve to have a government that will stand up for them and for their kids and do something about it.
So that woman beforehand was Peggy Flanagan, who's running to be the senator of Minnesota. And she was on CNN and saying, we got to do everything we possibly can to keep helping kids have addictomy surgeries. And she didn't realize that shortly after she made that statement on CNN that J.D. Vance and RFK Jr. were coming out with yet another initiative to stop this insanity.
Today, the Trump administration is proud to announce we're doing exactly that.
Today, HHS released Wolves in White Coats, a report examining pediatric gender medicine and insurance building across America. The findings raise serious questions about what families were told, what insurers were told, and how these procedures were built.
Today, Secretary Kennedy and I referred hospitals and clinics identified by this review to the Department of Justice and the HHS Inspector General for possible violations of federal law. These allegations are crazy and they demand investigation. When children may have been harmed and families misled, it's on those of us in power to find the truth and to seek justice for kids who are harmed by these doctors.
Under the previous administration, my predecessor, Richard Levine, promoted what he called gender-affirming care for minors, and there's nothing caring about that.
Not at all. The Biden administration was openly advocating for as many kids to have the advertisement surgery as possible. The evilness of what they were doing, which was championed by the person in the role before, Rachel Levine. Just imagine, as literally like putting the wolf in the hen house. Hey, we're going to talk about doing advertisement surgeries with a person who's, working on having an advertisement or removedectomy. The insanity of what they've tried to do to our families and our children's. And it was all under the auspices of the Biden administration, whoever it was that was pushing all of these ideologies to destroy the nuclear family, to rip it apart by making decisions on young 10-year-old kids who have no idea. They don't even know what a boy or girl is yet at 10 years old. And you're telling them, we're going to put you in a dress instead of a cowboy suit. Instead of playing football, we're going to make you play with Barbie's, home bakery. The kids don't know. This was child abuse sanctioned by the United States government.
These are sex-rejecting, mutilating, transgender procedures promoted by the Biden administration, and thanks to President Trump's leadership, we're changing course. The Wolves in White Coats report issued by my office at HHS examines a medical system that subjected children to profound interventions while serious questions remained about evidence, about informed consent, and about financial incentives.
How can a kid consent? Those of you who have had children or have grandchildren, tell me how a 10-year-old kid can consent to having his junk lopped off. It doesn't exist. None of you would do anything in terms of having your 10-year-old child tell you how to, what they want. They don't know if they want a cheeseburger or chicken nuggets. And they probably don't care which one. And you're like, well, hey, Bobby, we're going to take you to the doctor and we're going to turn you into a little girl. Is that okay? Sure, Mom. Will I be back home to play video games later? They don't know. They trust you as the parent. The whole thing with a 10-year-old girl or boy at that point is they're looking up to you, your mom and dad. And then we're going to go to the hospital or the doctor, and it's like, hi, Dr. Smith. Yes, hi, Billy. How you going to do? Billy, we're going to fix you. Okay. None of us. I remember being 10 years old. I remember being a complete knucklehead. I thought rolling around in mud was cool. And Mom, what you mad at? We're just playing in the dirt. We don't know anything at 10. He's going to give consent. Consent to what? I couldn't get consent. The only consent I had was making sure I didn't get whacked. You don't even have consent to speak right now. Okay. All right. You want something to cry for? Oh, no, I'm good. I'm really good. I'm consenting you not whacking me upside the head. But these people were making irreparable, life-altering surgeries on kids. God forgive us for what we've done to how many kids in this country.
The report found more than 225 hospitals and health systems established pediatric gender programs nationwide where they preyed on vulnerable children and told families that their kids needed life-altering medical treatments when what they...
Have these people not read the Hippocratic... well, obviously they haven't. They were led by the worst of them all, Fauci. There was nothing that they were doing that was science. They keep telling us, trust the science. I don't know if most of us can ever trust the science ever again. I had to go today for my MRI review, and he's talking to me about my knees, and I'm like, show it to me. I want to see it. Here, let me take a snapshot so I can feed it into Grok or Chat GTP. What do you guys have here? Because I want to make sure because I can't trust the science anymore. I can never trust science anymore. I'm going to have to look up my own information and make sure it concurs. I'm going to have second and third opinions on people who don't know each other. What do you think about this left knee? Okay, what do you think about the left knee? And Chat GTP, what do you think about my left knee? Croc, you want to chime in here? Hopefully everybody concurs. If it doesn't, we got a problem. And so trust the science has left the building. There is no more trust of science as far as I'm concerned.
Really needed was compassion and counseling.
So many of these people got rich, not by doing what was good for the patient, but by actually mutilating these kids. It was disgraceful. And if someone broke the law, we are going to hold them accountable.
If the medical establishment failed children, we will confront that failure and restore the sacred duty to do no harm.
And if our public health institutions lost the trust of American families, we're going to earn it back with truth, with transparency, and with gold standard science.
Together.
So people on X are saying nothing's happening. Nothing happening. Nope. Yeah, Trump administration, they're doing nothing. He's gone back on all his promises. Everything is fake. It's just, oh, he's doing it for his millionaire buddies. It's all bull crap. That's the reason why I show you so much of this stuff. Not because, I'm trying to force it down your throat. I'm hoping you're making your own decisions and going, something's really wrong here. We are doing a lot. We're seeing fraud constantly. We're seeing this, we're seeing that. We're seeing how arduous of a task this is. Somebody in the chat yesterday asked about Judge Jeanine. We haven't seen much of her. As the after party was playing, something came up on the screen. She's filing a whole bunch of more indictments, or not filing indictments, filing more cases with the grand jury. It's all moving. It's just imagine this. They just posted a site today unveiling all of this fraud. And it just, every time you pull something open, it's like, oh, there's more hornets in here. All right, dig in. Oh, find some more. And yet the people on platforms are trying to tell you that nothing's happening.
We're going to protect our children. And importantly, we're going to restore trust in public health. When you walk into the doctor's office, you have to know that they're going to do the best by yourselves, by your children, by your family. And we will hold accountable anyone who would betray that trust. We've got so many great doctors. We can't have a few bad doctors tarnish the whole lot. Thank you, everybody.
So that's got to be freaking these people out. Because now they're looking at the, I got to keep saying it, the addictomy crowd, because, again, it's a word I can now use until they tell me you can no longer use that word. But now they're digging, and they're digging. And so I have a question to you. You just saw, this literally came out this morning. Do you think any of this is coincidental? Are you going to sit back and tell me that President Trump comes out and says, I don't want boys playing in women's sports. He knows the data from Pew Research that it's a 75, which I think is probably an 85% issue. He knows the WNBA probably already has some, addictomy type people playing. And then on the same today, after all this stuff with Enos Kanter, all this stuff with Royce White calling out the WNBA, these guys come out and launch this. There is no coincidence. They are going after the insanity of the left on every single platform that they have. And this one here is now, they're cranking this one down. We're now no longer going to be doing these strategies, these experiments per se. And then I saw something else. Many of you guys may have seen this, but it hit me very hard for two reasons. Why? I'm black. Secondly, because Ashley used to be a teacher. And third, because it's just awful. It's more abuse on children. It is tantamount to the worst, even maybe worse than the addictomy crowd. And you think to yourself, why would this be worse? Because you've cast these kids into some sort of cauldron of despair that they don't even know. They are destined to be failures because they're past the age of accountability and being able to decide certain things, and their parents and their teachers have let them down. Listen to this.
I literally broke down in the middle of class because I'm teaching seniors. These kids are leaving high school and going to college, hopefully, after they finish.
Problem number one. As he's crying and going to tell you about these kids, he's saying they're going to be going to college. Red flag, red effing flag. These kids are broke. They can't buy anything. They're complaining instead of complaining about the people who put them in this position. This man is telling you, I'm teaching seniors in high school who are about to go to college. We're going to incur a whole bunch of student loans that they can never pay. And then there'll be future socialists. Listen to what he says here.
We had 2 paragraphs to read, 1 sentence, complete to write. I gave them the sentence stems. I basically completed the sentence for them in the model. These are 17 and 18-year-old kids, and they couldn't fill in 4 words. 4 words. I gave them the scenario. We annotated together. I gave them the answers before we even had the problem.
He gave them the answers. Imagine that. You're talking to kids and say, okay, here's the answer to the question I'm going to give you. All I need you to do is fill in the rest of the statement. Here's the sentence. The sentence is, an airplane, I'm making this up, an airplane takes off from what? Where does the airplane take off from? Wheels? It's sad. They couldn't, whatever the sentence he gave them, I wish he had posted that, they couldn't fill in 4 words was the answer. Fill in 4 words. I mean, he may have given them, I don't know, something real hard like the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance. 4 words. Can you just give me the next 4 words? I bet you if you gave him Jay-Z's song lyrics or something from Eminem, they probably would have filled, well, they probably could say it, but they probably couldn't write it. Our kids have been destroyed systematically. Now, he's from what I understand, he teaches at a black school, but it could just as well happen at any school. They're out there having all their meetups and beating up people in the mall and turning Waffle House into, a slap show, but they can't write or read. And it shocked me because he's talking, they're going to go to college next year. What college is bringing these people in who can't put in 4 words in a sentence?
Couldn't do it. I don't know. I simply don't know where the problem is. This is only day 2.
I have a problem with what he just said. When he says he doesn't understand where the problem is, I'm pretty sure every single one of you could fill in the blank on this one. The problem is, and every single one of you grew up this way, whether you liked it or not, the problem is the parents. I couldn't do anything without my dad or mom coming and go, you get your homework done? Recite it to me so I know you didn't cheat. Tell me what this is. Here, show me. Add this up. And you have to do it. My biggest bribe was, you're not eating until you show me. Oh, yeah, here you go, Mom. Yeah, that was the easy punishment for me. You can't eat. Let me get to it. But the parents had to have an interest. The parents had to make the kids do what they're supposed to do at home. There had to be parents at home. And I think so much in the black community right now, especially inner cities, is they don't have that. My parents got divorced when I was 11. But my mom then took on the burden of both, and she led with a heavy hand saying, get your stuff done. You're not leaving. You're not doing anything. You're definitely not going to be playing Little League. You're definitely not going to be doing this. You're not going to play football this weekend. If the teacher calls me, you're not playing this weekend. I used to tell people what was the biggest thing my mom had against me, because I was a big kid. Couldn't beat me. It would hurt her hands. Like, I can't hit him. My mom became the general of the takeaway. She knew there were things that I cared about that she would take away. This was way before cell phones and computers, but she knew, I'm going to take this away. You're not going to watch Wild World of Sports this weekend. You're not going to watch the Cowboys or any other football game this weekend. Nope, you're not going to watch Notre Dame play. And then as I got older, you're not playing. What? What do you mean? You can't, I can't stop you? Watch. Takeaway. And of course, as you get older, nope, give me your license. You're not driving. You can't go to this party. You can't. She was a master. She was a 8th degree black belt of the takeaway. She knew she couldn't harm me physically, so she just learned how to take away. I wouldn't stand in no damn corner. No, go stand in the corner. It didn't work. Don't try to hit me. You're going to hurt your hand again. I'll just block it. Nah, it ain't no big deal. And then she developed that skill. I'm telling you, she was an 8th degree black belt in the takeaway. And so I just learned, either you do what you're supposed to do at home, or you're not going to get what you want. And it worked. Maybe that's why my work ethic is so strong, is because I feel like Robin has the takeaway right now. She got 8th degree black belt in it too.
And I have seniors who simply cannot read, and seniors who cannot write. They cannot write. They can reason. They have the ability to defend their reasoning if it's talking to their homeboy, but applying that to a written text, 2 paragraphs, and they couldn't do it. Our young black men, our young brown men, our young black girls, and our young brown girls.
You know, I feel for him, but his problem is he shut himself off in a world as well. You know, he keeps talking about the black and the browns. No, it's happening everywhere. You guys can turn on any of these protests and you see it yourself. It's not just the black and the brown. They make the news because they act really stupid, but you know it's a whole spectrum of kids. It's black, it's brown, it's white, it's yellow, not the red. Well, maybe the red too. Probably not the yellow, because Asian kids seem to be doing well. But he's having a problem figuring out the problem, and it's very easy to see. There's no reinforcement. There's no positive reinforcement. And it doesn't matter whether it's in math, whether it's in English, whether it's hitting a fastball, whether it's lifting weights, whether it's tackling. If you're not getting positive reinforcement, you are going to fail. And the Democrats love it. They want a legion of failure. To them, failure means this, we own them. They're never going to aspire. They're never going to get better. They're never going to achieve. They're going to hate capitalism. They can't make any money. They're destined to pouring coffee or cleaning tables. And that's okay with the Democrats. And now we see their plan has come to fruition. You got a whole legion of kids right now who can't do anything and are complaining because they can't have what you got and they have no way to get it. Can you imagine back in your life when you were 21 or 22 and thinking to yourself, I'm done. There's nothing I can do. I remember I was acting up in college, trying to be big man on campus and everything else, and lived in a fraternity house. And one of the kids' fathers came down for the weekend. He goes, "Can I talk to you?" I'm like, "Sure." And he goes, "I want to ask you a question. How much money do you have in your pocket right now?" And I was like a junior. $4. You don't even have enough to put gas in your car. Is that how you want to live? And here I am, 65, and I can remember that conversation sitting on the steps, and that man said, "Pull out your wallet. Let me see how much cash you have in your pocket, Mr. Big Man." I got $4. And he looked at me and he said, "Nothing is going to work out in your life until you realize how you need to fix that. You're not even going to find the woman to love." I went, "They want no broke ass Negro." And I was like, wow, never thought of it that way. He goes, "You're going to be graduating next year and you got $4 in your pocket." And he goes, "Ask Jimmy." Jimmy was his son. "Jimmy, how much you have in your pocket?" And I didn't know this, and I was pissed at Jimmy because he was holding out. Jimmy had like $300 this spot. I was like, whoa, you know how much beer we could get with that? But he had made sure that his son kept money in his pocket. You don't have anything. You know where you're going to be? You're going to end up pumping gas instead of filling up your tank. That's all I needed to hear.
Oh, God.
All right, so that's the teacher completely lamenting, crying, upset, basically admitting failure, maybe not his failure, but understanding the problem is bigger than he can take. We can't fix this with money. See, when SV showed you the fraud in the education department and what they're doing, this isn't something you can throw money at. And I think that's the biggest problem right now with these kids is because they keep asking for more and more money for the Department of Education. They want more and more money. I'm like, well, we've been giving more and more money for the last 20-something years. It's not changing. It's getting worse. So there's only one fix to this problem, and the Democrats will never utilize that one fix. And so there's other black people who saw what this gentleman did in his video, and we've been reacting and talking to each other.
I want an apology. I want an apology right now from all you old school black parents. I want an apology. And I ain't talking about you talking about 50. I'm 51. No, I'm talking about you black parents that are 75 and older. All you old black folk that's 75 and older, I want an apology. If I would have talked back to my mama, she would have uppercut slapped me. Said you can. She would have did that. Tiger, she would have did that.
See? All right, say in the chat, would your mama let you talk back to her? So he's like, y'all need to apologize to me. These kids running wild in the street. They can do whatever they want. No, you need to apologize to me. I got robbed from freedom. Because I watched this and I was like, yep, yeah, my mom would get your, oh boy, yeah.
If I would have dared cross my eyes at my daddy, I would have got a psycho crusher. My daddy would have slung me across the wall. It would have looked like when Loki attacked Thanos and he picked him up. He said, you should choose your words wisely. You remember that scene from Avengers Infinity Wars? You remember that? Yeah, I do. See, I had a black mama and a black daddy that told me on Sunday morning, it's time for church. Matter of fact, if they told you that, the belt was coming. If they told you something they felt you should know.
I was like, oh yeah. Don't let me have to, my dad was like, don't let me have to wake you up. What do you mean? I expect you to be down here at 7:30. And his favorite saying to me is, okay, how do you say it? 15 minutes early is on time. On time is late. Past time, you're cleaning the yard and we're gone. And I was like, wow, so I got to be, then why don't you just tell me 7:15 then? Oh, sorry, didn't mean to say that. We knew. Hey, the bus is coming for school at 8:30. Make sure your butt is at the bus stop at 8:15. And don't let me have to wake you up to tell you. You don't want me to wake you up. We've lost all that. They called it abuse. And now the kids can call people on you. Can you imagine growing up? Now, some people obviously had it much worse than others. Some people's parents, they went nuts on them. They took it as pleasure. I never had that issues, but I feel for everybody who did have to endure that. That is wrong. There's no excuse. But a corporal punishment-based raising, there are a lot of people who like my age, are like, yeah, I remember. And then look at my sisters and like, oh, they got it worse than me because I was too big. But at least we understood what we were supposed to do.
You got swung on. And white parents was like that too now. I ain't talking about them city folk. I'm talking about country, Johnston kids. I'm talking about North Carolina here. You ain't from North Carolina, you ain't gonna know. See, you don't know about Johnston County white folk. See, I ain't talking about Wade County whites. Yes, Carrie and more raw there. I ain't talking about them white folk. I'm talking about Johnston County white folk. I'm talking about Bertie County white folks. I'm talking about Halifax County white folk. See, them the white folk that swung on their kids too.
I grew up in Connecticut. I remember that myself too. I remember the first time I heard one of my friends say shit to his mother. I'm like, oh, I started ducking for him. I'm like, oh, let me just go ahead and duck for you right now. I'm like, oh shit, Mom. I'm like, oh, you're in trouble.
Had the rebel flag and everything, but you know what? They worked with your daddy, and if you got smart in that house, that white man with the rebel flag tore your hind part up and told your daddy, who was the former Black Panther, what you did, and your daddy said, I'm gonna beat him. You get the left cheek, I'll get the right cheek when he get home. I look at these kids now. We were the kids that was done that, and you allow these kids to run wild. Heard a little black boy yelling at his mama. She yelling back. I'm like, oh my goodness. He raised his voice at his mama. I got a flashback.
Go ahead and say in the chat if that gave you like your hair stand up on your arms if you're someplace and you see somebody mouth off to their mother. It used to drive. I feel for you, brother. Oh, nothing happened to him? I told you a story. If I didn't, I'll say it again. When I was being recruited, there was the older players would sometimes go on recruiting trips. And we were in this house. This kid was all world. He was fantastic. And we were in a recruiting trip. And the mother said, would you guys like something to drink? And we all said, sure, please, water, whatever. And his mom walked out the room and the phone started ringing. And it wasn't like it's a cell phone. It was a phone on the wall someplace. And the kid looked at the phone and it rang a second time. And he said, GD, Mom, answer the effing phone. Coach looked at me. I was like, okay. And he's like, hi, Mrs. whatever her name was. Thank you, but we have to leave. And I asked him in the car on the way back, I'm like, why'd we leave? And he's like, if he talks to his mother like that, he's never going to listen to me. And here again, I'm 65, and these are the kind of conversations that have stayed with me forever. Like, if he's talking to her that way, I don't have a prayer. And that kid ended going to Nebraska, did really well, and then ended up in jail. Coach nailed it.
Kids talking down to their daddy, what in the world? And I'm talking about, it didn't matter if their daddy was in the house back in the days or not. You didn't disrespect your daddy. What in the world? White folk, what's y'all? You didn't, country folks didn't have it. Your daddy wore any type of camo. If you a white boy and your daddy wore camo, that's a backhand special. You ran your mouth. Ain't like that no more. Lord help us.
It ain't like that no more. If your daddy wore camo, you was in trouble. Oh yeah, if my father was in the army, he'd bring out the army stuff. I'm like, shh, just be quiet. Don't say nothing. Boy, it's a shame. It's an absolute shame how we have failed these kids, and it's an absolute shame that the Democrats are encouraging that. They did everything they possibly could to destroy the nuclear family, everything they possibly could. And now we're paying the price for it. Hopefully we won't pay the price for it in the election, but we're paying the price for it right now. God help us, because these kids are in trouble, big trouble. All right, SB, talking about being in trouble. I plead
the fifth. I plead the fifth. On the advice of my attorneys.
Oh boy.
I got a bunch of stories. I'm just racking them up. The news just keeps on coming.
All right, so I want to go to this. I want to go to what? You want me to go to 4 or 5?
No. I'm saying you can start at 5. That's where we left off, 5 through 8.
Right,
but you can choose what you want.
It's true. It's true. Oh no.
Yes. So it looks like he's trying to come out of the Porta-John for a Labor Day rally. So former Maine Democratic Senate nominee Graham Plattner is set to make one of his first public appearances since ending his campaign, serving as a featured speaker at a Labor Day rally in Ellsworth, Maine. Is there something in the water up there in Maine? I mean, why would you want to go and listen to this guy? Give me a reason.
Did he think everybody forgot what he did? I mean, is it just like, no, that was before.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm different now. Everything's better. I guess he's seeing some of these socialists say, oh, I've evolved. I am no longer, I'm a good Nazi, okay? Oh.
Unbelievable.
Nothing tells you the state of the Democrat Party than seeing that. Seeing the fact that they're resurrecting this guy and they put him in the defibrillator and said, go back out there, which also should tell you the state of polling. There would be this guy wouldn't be sniffing about getting back into the race if there wasn't some really bad internal numbers in terms of the other guy going against Susan Collins. It's wow. Well,
the polling, as I showed you earlier, I said that AOC is apparently polling higher than Rubio. I mean, it's probably a Mark, who poll.
Yeah. Oh, did you hear the other news about AOC? Let me see if I could pull.
Well, there's a couple of stories, but they're kind of X-rated. The one about her eggs.
No,
I don't know.
I'm not talking about.
She asked her boyfriend because her boyfriend's white or something.
I'm not talking about her boobies or anything. It was this one. It says. Just in, AOC filed her financial disclosure, and she only disclosed holdings less than $66,000 in bank accounts and less than $15,000 in a mutual fund. So we're supposed to believe she only has $81,000. That's it. That's all I got.
Come on, man.
Do we look stupid? I mean, first it was
full of a turnip truck.
First it was Ilhan Omar saying, I got 30 million. Oh, nope, I don't have 30. I got like 10 grand. That's it. How do you go from 30 million to 10 grand?
Well, it was because that winery just suddenly went out of business in California, right?
It's stunning how little they think of the American people. We're all supposed to just nod along. Yep, everything's fine. Don't worry, everything's cool. What do you got here?
So this is some good news for our prosperity ka-ching. So Apple just opened an advanced USA manufacturing center in Houston, Texas. Hopefully not next to one of those Islamic centers that are opening up. Anyway, Apple will be investing $600 billion in America.
Wow.
$600 billion.
Wow. $600 billion. Make up for some of those losses that people have been stealing. Oh, God. Okay, so what's the next one we have here? Pete Hegseth. Okay, yeah, I heard this rumor, too. It's crazy.
Yeah, so he just personally performed PT with the troops after visiting the Jungle Training Center south in Panama. He's well known for doing this wherever he goes. There's no better way to start the day than PT with America's finest warriors. We love our Secretary of War. So with the video, he talks, it's like 33 seconds.
I
Pretty much, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a huge thing.
But
yeah,
I mean,
you
can see
it's
him
a
working
far
out
cry.
there.
Yeah, I mean, who was this? Who did he replace? Who was the guy?
Hold on, I'll download it pretty quick. Lloyd, I have to go to the hospital and not tell anybody, Austin.
And he wore like a dog mask to prevent him from getting the germs. Like, what a change! What an upgrade! What a heck of an upgrade!
Hold on, I'm going to resize this because Pete is. These guys try to do everything to get away from X's monetization rules. I don't blame them. I mean, you got to do what you got to do to make a buck.
Everybody's trying to make money.
All right, here we go.
To President Trump for setting a clear mission that we're going to make this hemisphere fight a real thing, and it is night and day, a year and a half, night. Go talk to anybody that looked at Southcom. I wasn't joking when I talked about what the priorities were. It was gender issues and climate change and diversity. It was like USAID with some guns. This is a different Southcom. This is a different mission. We are focused on military capabilities against real threats who need to be deterred and defeated, and we're going to give them everything they need to do it.
Yeah.
Toxic masculinity, baby. Yeah.
Bring all of that. Yeah, exactly. All right, so let me go ahead. I'm going to have to take a minute because I thought I had downloaded the next segment and I forgot to download it. So I'm going to run that.
Before you go.
Good.
Before you go, just a update, the last story, which we'll cover. But Trump is traveling to New York tomorrow, and he's doing it for to tell the voters to storm the polls for Bruce Blakeman. So he just put out a True Social post about it. Yeah, so I thought that was kind of big news. Just
so
came out about
he's traveling to New York tomorrow and is calling on voters to storm the polls for Bruce Blakeman. When's his election? Is that November as well?
I do not know that answer. I can get it.
Okay. Yeah. Let me know.
Yes, it is. Yeah. The bottom it says big November election.
But that's just the primary, though. He's going to win. I mean, he'll win the primary. I would assume. So, oh no, November is for everything. Okay, it's for the whole thing. So he's trying to get people to actually here we go. I look forward to being back in the great state of New York tomorrow, where highly respected and very popular Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman is running to be the next governor. Bruce is MAGA all the way and has been with me for the very beginning as Nassau County Executive. He is working tirelessly with the brave heroes of ICE, Border Patrol, and law enforcement to keep our border secure, stop migrant crime, safeguard our community, ensure law and order. As your next governor, Bruce will continue to fight hard to grow the economy, cut taxes and regulations, promote made in the USA, champion American energy dominance, strengthen our military veterans. Wow, President Trump, and protect our always under siege Second Amendment. Bruce Blakeman is a fantastic guy who will win big in November without hesitation. Has my complete and total endorsement. Bruce will make it a great again, the great state of New York, and I will never let you down, President Donald J. Trump. So he talked a little bit about the border and what's going on up there in New York. I want to good segue, SV, because I want to show you something that Tom Homan said. I think this was on Hannity as well. Thanks, SV.
Right. Wonder what Tom Homan thinks of this. Anyway, here he is. Our borders are. Tom Homan is with us. Well, that's what they're pledging, Tom. I know people have tried to make these threats against you before. Hasn't exactly worked out in their favor, has it?
No, it hasn't. And what they did today was a blatant, disgusting lie. And I'm tired of it. Now, they want to spend millions of dollars of New York taxpayers' money on defending migrant children because they said we abandoned them. No, we didn't ban them. We just changed contracts. We have a contract in place right now that defends the children at a better rate than was being done in the past. There hasn't been one child at a hearing that hasn't been represented by a lawyer under this new contract. So don't say we're banning these children. The only people that ban children are you, because you say you care about the safety of the children, you care about the safety of the communities. Well, since I've been border czar, I wrote these numbers down. Since I've been border czar, New York State has denied 14,000 detainers, over 14,000 detainers. Who are they? 6,800 illegal aliens with assault convictions, 800 convictions for child crimes. Don't tell me you're trying to protect children. You're releasing predators to the street every day across that state. You got 770 convictions for rape or other sex crimes. I'm sick of the lying. I'm sick of the distortion of the facts.
Man, we've heard this guy be fired up. I haven't heard him this fired up the entire time he's been involved with the Trump administration. He's had it with Kathy Hochul, definitely had it with Mondami.
Trump's done more to make New York City and New York State safer than they have. Where were they when 500,000 children were separated from their families, put in the hands of criminal cartels, and smuggled across the border? Some of those children died. They lost track of 300,000 of them. It was the Trump administration who has found 151,000 of these children that the Biden administration wasn't even looking for. Some of these children are victims of sex trafficking. Some were victims of forced labor. I don't want to hear you talk about us abandoning children. It's you. You've abandoned the taxpayers in New York. Your communities are less safe because of all these criminals you release into the street every day. Children are less safe.
Yeah, I got to feel something big's about to happen in New York City. I mean, this guy is fired up, deservedly so. And he's bringing information that most people won't hear because the Democrats don't want to talk about it. You won't find it on CNN or MSNBC, CBS, or ABC. They don't want you hearing this. And this guy is fired up.
President Trump is saving thousands of lives every month because we got a secure border. Fentanyl's not coming across to kill Americans at the rate it was. Sex trafficking, women and children have drastically declined. 4,000 aliens died making that journey under Biden. How many have died since? Zero. President Trump's saving thousands of lives. That includes thousands of lives in New York. You're welcome. You're welcome that ICE is taking thousands of criminals off your street.
Wasn't it Governor Tim Walz? You had a guy convicted of raping and assaulting sexually a 10-year-old girl. Didn't he give this illegal immigrant a pardon? Is that the same state that Peggy Flanagan is in? Because Peggy Flanagan is running for the Senate. She won her race last night. Another DSA radical said during her victory speech last night, we need to rip ICE apart and stop them from terrorizing our communities. Is that a threat?
ICE, the ones that have arrested hundreds of thousands of criminal aliens and deporting them, making this country safer. ICE, the one that found 151,000 missing children. And we still got more to find. We won't stop. President Trump's committed to finding every one of them. But, you know, it's Mondami and Hochul. I got two words for you. Lake and Riley. You talk to the Open Borders group. You talk to the groups who want to abolish ICE. Have you ever talked to an angel mom and dad? I doubt it.
Tell me, have you heard this guy this pissed off? Have you heard him this fired up? I haven't heard him this. I mean, he's almost frothing at the mouth. He can't wait to get into New York City. And all these two here, Hochul and Mondami, want to do is vilify ICE, do everything they can to make their job harder, which is only going to make a guy like Tom Homan want to push even harder.
You ever talked to Lake and Riley's parents? Because their child was buried. You know why? Because the murderer was arrested in New York City by NYPD. They didn't call ICE. They released him. Then he went to Georgia and violently killed this young lady. If you don't want to talk to your parents and listen to the tape, almost 19 minutes of this little girl fighting for every breath, fighting to live. She didn't want to die. Listen to that tape and tell me how you justify sanctuary cities that release criminals to the streets of New York every single day. You can't.
I want him somehow to play that tape. I don't know if the parents have told people don't let anybody hear it. But I think it's important, if the parents are okay with it, play the tape. Let people hear who can stand it, understand how bad this little girl was abused. And then dare Kathy Hochul and dare Mondami to even comment on it.
And justify it. Governor Hochul can't say she cares about the safety of communities and lock us out of the jail. She just signed legislation locking us out of the jails. How do you square that, saying you want to enforce laws against criminal aliens, but we're locking ICE out of the jail? It's disgusting what they're doing.
It really is. And
I'm upset. I'm tired. I'm upset. I'm just tired of it.
He's pissed. So I don't know what New York's going to do, but he can't wait to get up there and deservedly rip them a new butt. It's funny because that's what the Peggy Flanagan from Minnesota says. She says she can't wait to rip apart ICE. Well, it looks like Tom Homan is ready to rip apart New York City and get these people out of here. And I hope he can do that. It's disgusting. He's disgusted. We're all disgusted with these Democrats. Hey, let me tell you about the next part of our show being sponsored by Rumble Wallet. Got a big deal to talk to you guys about. This is a paid advertisement from Rumble Wallet. They're sponsoring this portion of the show. All right, so listen to this. As we know, we're nearing the 25th anniversary of 9/11. September 11th. Today is August 13th. I've decided to do something extremely special. And here's how it's going to work. Rumble is giving me a great way to help some needy families. And I'm going to use all the rants submitted on Rumble, and I'm going to donate it to Tunnel for Towers. Actually, I'm going to match dollar for dollar anything that comes in on Rumble Rants. All rants sent through Rumble Wallet will be matched by me, and we'll get them to Tunnel for Towers. I think what they've done is so good, and most of the money that almost like 90+% actually goes to families. So if you send a Rumble rant, it will go to them and be matched. It's as simple as that. So for a limited time, you can start your wallet with $10 in U.S. stablecoin for tipping Rumble creators. So this one is, like I said, I'm going to give every single rant a matching amount, and we're going to give that to Tunnel for Towers. Yeah, that's how you say it. So just enter my exclusive promo code Barry10 when you sign up. Questions, hot takes, stuff you'd like me to talk about, put it all in there. Tell me you want me to react. Don't bury it just in a chat that I won't see. Put it, if you want to, if you're on Rumble, put it in a Rumble rant, because let's be honest, regular chat does go by pretty fast, but when you use Rumble Wallet, it cuts through everything. So here's the move. Scan the QR code on the screen, or use the link in the description of this video. Download Rumble Wallet and try it yourself. And don't forget to use the code Barry10 and claim $10 of free, USA stablecoin. Sending a tip is easy. Opening the chat like you're sending a Rumble rant and hit, pay with Rumble Wallet. This is basically the VIP lane right now, and it's going to go to help a good cause with Tunnel for Towers. You want a shout out? You want me to actually engage with what you're saying? We're going to use Rumble Wallet over the next month and claim $10 in USAT stablecoin with my code Barry10. And, I'll be watching for them, or actually SV as well. Restrictions apply. There are a limited number of entries available. Terms and conditions apply. See the description below or visit rumble.com/promo official rules for details. I'll be right back.
Welcome back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
It's time for a Fanfare news update.
This is from his podcast. There was a February 2023 episode of America Dissected podcast where El Sayed questioned whether there was any version of football that he said could be, quote, ethical or safe. And he linked the culture of the sport, which he did play growing up, to something much broader. He said narratives that had been historically used to justify slavery, westward expansion, and other forms of oppression. Listen to Amir.
So this guy, Abdul Muhammad Syed, El Sayed, whatever you say, decided he's running for Senate in Michigan, where the Michigan Wolverines play, where the Detroit Lions play, where the Michigan State Spartans play. And he comes out, or actually he said it years ago, they hid it and people found it, that, football isn't something people should be playing. They should be blasting this in the middle of the Michigan Stadium every single weekend.
You think about all the wars that we fight abroad, all of the sordid history of oppressing other people in the name of this American idea, right? Whether it was, quote, manifest destiny and destroying Native Americans, or it was the transatlantic slave trade, where, folks who, quote, founded this country on the backs of Native folks that they destroyed, then captured people, enslaved them, and had them work their fields because they thought it was their right? And all of this, like a lot of these narratives, you kind of see echoed in the ethos of football.
Somehow playing football brings up the entirety of slavery and taking Native Americans into slavery and conquering them. How do you go from here to here? That makes absolutely no sense. We're playing football. It's 2026. I have nothing to do with slaves. I have nothing to do with conquering land from Indian. I'm just trying to win a game this Saturday. What in the hell are you talking about? And more so, why would you be saying this? Who are you talking to that would take what you just said to heart? You're telling people who are getting ready for the football season that you shouldn't be doing it because you're playing on conquered land. I wish I had the Elon Musk thing, but it's too dirty. But I would just have to say, go F yourself.
Is very much associated with a particularly masculine and oftentimes toxically masculine culture. And
toxic masculinity, a term they just made up, just like they always do. Completely made up, toxic masculinity. And this is from somebody who supposedly played football as a young kid. Maybe that's why he got his ass whooped or something. He's all pissed off that he's got some toxic masculinity. And so now you're taking arguably the biggest sport in America, which is about to start up. Well, actually, it's already started. And you're saying it's all a bunch of guys running around with, testosterone and bravado and toxic masculinity. And you expect the good people of Michigan to get behind this? It can't be possible.
Still enjoy watching football, even if with some guilt associated with it.
I enjoy watching football, even though I've got some guilt. What guilt do you have? We're watching football. Are you feeling bad because there's a bunch of big guys, a bunch of testosterone-laden monsters who are running as fast as they can, who are hitting other people, who are scoring touchdowns? What in the hell is toxic? Because it's a violent sport? I can't imagine what he thinks about hockey.
Are you in favor of public ownership models like the one Bernie introduced?
So I want to actually take it a step further.
Okay.
I agree that we need public ownership, but I also agree that we need some system of public control.
Yeah.
All right, let me explain what he just said for some of you guys who may not be following along. He's thinking that, the general population should take over Amazon, for instance, Apple. You shouldn't have Bezos or Tim Cook or any of the people at the head. The people should take it over. Let the people run it. Well, what the hell did the people have to do with setting the company up? Doesn't matter. We just take it over. We are advocating for public control over business. It's insane. And there's kids and crazy liberals who are falling for this stuff.
What is the point of democracy if it's not to protect us from existential risk?
Don't you consider communism an existential risk? Wouldn't you consider, I don't know, socialism an existential risk? But you say democracy has to protect us. It has to protect us from people like you. You're the one who says football is toxic. You're the one who says you want to tax us out the wazoo. You're the one who says private property shouldn't be owned by people. You're the one who's saying that people, the people, whoever those people are, should take over the means of production. You are the existential threat. And for some reason, you've got a legion of people who are sitting like orcs just walking along, not realizing that he and you who are following this stuff, you're the existential threat. We just want to live our lives. I have a friend coming into town for dinner this weekend. Used to work with him up at Disney. We're going to have a good time. We're going to watch some football. Next week, things are going to be hectic with me. We have to go down to the Miami Marlins game because we don't have to, but we're going down to Miami Marlins. They're playing the Boston Red Sox. Maybe you'll see me on TV behind home plate. And then the Dolphins Stadium starts up, and like, man, this is the best time to be in South Florida as we go into the fall. There's so much going on between baseball and hockey and then basketball and football and all these different festivals. And we just want to live our lives and love life. You people are some miserable sons of bitches.
Women, how come you didn't write in your language those born female? How come you didn't make that clear? Because if you were born a female, even if you're transitioning to being a female, because you weren't born a female, that would make you ineligible to enter the WNBA. Why didn't you do that?
So I played a portion of this earlier, and obviously this is Stephen A., and they got a big problem. Those of you guys who saw the Patriot games the other day, and the left went absolutely ballistic because Pat McAfee walked into the stadium. Actually, he met President Trump at Air Force One. As he came off the plane, he met him on the tarmac and then walked through the arena. Pat McAfee, who has arguably the biggest podcast in the world, especially right now during upcoming football season. And now you've got Stephen A. as well. And it's not giving any quarter, no safe harbor for the liberals. They're freaking out that Stephen A. Smith is saying this. They're freaking out that Pat McAfee walked with President Trump. But unfortunately for them, the two of them, both Stephen A. Smith, which is he can be kind of a jack-off sometimes, and Pat McAfee, are beyond their ability to influence. They're beyond the ability to cancel. The people at ESPN right now must be going, oh my God, Pat McAfee and Stephen A. are talking this stuff? Yep. And not daring one of the presidents at ESPN to say something. I dare you. You'll never say anything about Pat McAfee, never. And I doubt you'll say anything about Stephen A. Smith.
Why is you gonna have cats 6'8" with goatees walking in your league or claiming they're gonna walk in your league? You can deny them entry. You can refuse to draft them, but you're gonna open yourself up to potential legal action until you clarify what the hell is going on.
See now you're talking the language these people pay attention to. They don't care about the addictomy crowd. That's not what they care about. They care about the ducats. And so right now, the reason why they can't clarify it the way they need to clarify it is because they're in a bind. There are some lawyers sitting back right now salivating. Make your move, WNBA, because what will happen is you will now have a flood of guys saying, I'm here to play. You can't win this. You can't win it. At this point, you're probably going to have to pay these guys a bunch of money just to have them go away. You made your point, all right? It's women only. Okay, that's what it is. And then you can have the other, the butchy chicks in the league freak out and not want to play and go on strike. And well, it's a complete quagmire. Checkmate has been placed. And it's going to hurt you here. Because if you tell these guys they can't play, you're going to have to say why they can't play. And if you say why they can't play, you're going to piss off the liberals and the lesbians. So it's like, what do we do? We're damned if we do, damned if we don't. Pay these men, tell them to go away. Change it, women only. Let these ones who are pissed off leave or not play. That's what you're going to have to do. You're stuck.
Eligibility is collectively bargained, meaning this is also an issue involving the WNBA Players Association, not simply a unilateral decision for the commissioner, Kathy Engelbert. Which means that, yes, the league office should have done more, but the Players Association, you got to get on top of it.
You can't. It's too late. Imagine what these meetings really were. The meeting was the commissioner of the league sitting down at a table with a bunch of lawyers and going, so what do we got to do? And there was no good answer. There was no good answer from the lawyers. Well, if you tell them they can't, then they're going to sue you for a whole shitload of money. If you tell them they can, then they're going to play. So what do we do? Okay, we're going to allow men to play in the WNBA. Okay, the line forms over here. And every single one of these people in this line are better than the best person in your league. There will be no more women's basketball league. How much you paying? What's the minimum salary? 200 grand? Oh, I'm in this line. I am most assuredly in this line. I was a star in high school. I can beat every one of these women on the court. Go ahead, make the call. What's the decision? Men can play? Okay. My name is Susie. Well, you're not really a, transformer. Prove it. Tell me how I'm different than, Rachel Levine. What's different? We have, using Alice Cooper, welcome to my nightmare. What are you going to do? You made your bed. Now it's going to cost you a pretty penny to lie in it. Good luck.
Special delivery. If it looks like an Amazon delivery,
and it drives like an Amazon delivery,
then it's an Amazon delivery. Amazon is spending millions of dollars to convince you that this isn't an Amazon delivery.
No, Amazon is, quote, spending $1 million to get the packages that people in your city are ordering off their website. That's what Amazon is doing. Let's just be clear. There would be no people driving through the streets of New York if there weren't people picking up a phone or going on a website and said, bring me this. And let me have it. I've got Amazon Prime, so bring it over tomorrow. Or if you can, bring it over tonight. That's why they're spending millions of dollars. They're not trying to convince you of anything. The only objective Amazon has is to make sure the order that somebody placed gets to them in their hands expeditiously. And they're spending millions of dollars because they're making millions of dollars on the orders. But no, here comes this communist, and he wants to uproot and do all kinds of problems to hurt Amazon now. You're really going to take a shot at one of the biggest companies in the world. This is where you are? What a moron.
But all you have to do is see for yourself. My uniform says Amazon.
If I don't wear this Amazon branded vest, disciplinary action will be taken against us.
You knew that, right? You knew when you went and hired at John's Courier Service. John's Courier Service says, I have a contract with Amazon. And while you're delivering these things, you need to put this vest on. And we will pay you for working. Sounded good. I took the job. I hope every one of these people in this commercial, or I'll call it a commercial, got fired. If they even worked. Unless they were actors. because I can't believe these people would put themselves in this position.
Workers' routes and hours are set by Amazon.
So why isn't Amazon responsible for these vans?
Because you work for a subcontractor, moron. You didn't go to the Amazon office. You went to Fred's House of Boxes. And Fred's House of Boxes said, you want to make some money delivering stuff? And you said, yeah, how much you paying me? I'll pay you this much per hour. Great. I'll go ahead and deliver these boxes. So what's your problem? Did you still get paid? Because that's the whole part that's missing in this commercial. You still got paid, right? They didn't withhold your pay. You completed your job every single day. You get paid for it. So what are we even talking about here?
Amazon and other corporations have built a vast network of subcontractors
That shield them from responsibility. Amazon tells these subcontractors where to drive,
who to hire, and what hours to work.
That's what's called subcontracting. Do these people not know what they're doing? Do they not realize that business across time has used subcontracting? Even the post office uses subcontracting. The post office, especially around Christmas, uses all kinds of subcontractors. Every single building built in Manhattan uses subcontractors. The general contractor pulls the license, and then the general contractor hires the steel companies and the garbage companies and the painters and the electricians and the plumbers. The general contractor doesn't do all this stuff. When you want to build a house, you talk to a general contractor. He's like, I got a couple guys that work on some of this stuff, maybe some handyman, but I subcontract the painting, the flooring, the fence, the pool. What the hell? These people not know this? Is this a surprise that there's this thing called subcontracting? You're an idiot.
I do all the work that makes Amazon all the money.
This is why I'm proud to support.
What did you just say? Wait, hold on. What did she just say? Hold on, I got to roll that back like 3 or 4 seconds. Where is she? Okay. Yeah, okay. I want you to hear what she just said one more time. Listen to when it gets to this woman.
Amazon tells these subcontractors where to drive,
who to hire, and what hours to work.
I do all the work that makes Amazon all the money.
I do all the work that makes Amazon all the money. You see where this is going, right? Yeah, you know exactly what he's doing. He's beginning the takeover of the means of production. I do all the work, but Amazon makes all the money. I hope Amazon says, you know what? I just don't need the hassle. Yeah, we made great money in New York, but F off, Mondami. You're not going to seize the means of production. We're just not going to sell in New York. Do you know how easy it would be for them to stop? Number one, they're all subcontractors. So the first thing is, sorry, we're going to have to cancel these contracts. The second thing is, turn off the website in New York. We don't take orders in New York City. It's over. And I heard somebody say, you think the biggest company in the world would do away with that business? Have you even ever looked at Amazon's balance sheet? Do you think that losing the business in New York would cause them a hiccup? Yeah, I do all the work and they make all the money. That's called the paycheck, honey.
This is why I'm proud to support the Delivery Protection Act, sponsored by Councilmember Tiffany Kalan. Because if Amazon is delivering your packages, they should follow the same rules of every other delivery.
When injuries and worker accidents skyrocket,
Amazon says they have nothing to do with it.
They don't. You don't work for them. You work for a subcontractor. That guy carries the liability insurance and the accident insurance. They couldn't be a subcontractor if they didn't give Amazon all that data. Show us your certificate of liability. I want to make sure you're covered so that you have everybody who works for you covered as well. And here's another thing. Everybody knows if one of these subcontractors got into an accident, there'd be some lawyer who was going to sue Amazon anyway. They're going to pierce that. Hey, they're wearing your uniform. We're going to sue you too. They know that. This is all a ruse.
You can't have it both ways.
By shielding themselves behind these so-called independent operators, this trillion-dollar company is able to avoid regulations on our city streets. And that's why we want to pass the Delivery Protection Act.
Big trouble coming. Big trouble coming. Smiling the whole way. We're here to help you. No, you're not. You're here to screw me. You realize one phone call, you're out of a job. One phone call. Shut it down. We're done. We're done. In fact, you know what? I'll pay you extra money to shut it down tomorrow. I'll even keep paying you for the length of the contract. Shut it down. Sue me. You don't think Amazon has a 10-story building full of attorneys? This guy is biting off way more than he could chew just to try and appease the idiots.
I think that we should have. I think that we should have.
Okay. I'm going to cut it after this one because this is just too much. This is the same argument I have with people. It's the same argument you can have with people, and it just completely destroys them. They have nothing left. They cannot answer it. They say there's no answer to this question. None.
So billionaires should be taxed out of existence. Having Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk making their own rockets.
Somebody making $100,000 a year, how much of every dollar should they be able to keep?
I think that the tax rate on most middle-class Americans and
Oliver,
Sean,
give me a number.
It's not that
how
easy.
Much out of every dollar should they be able to keep?
On cable news, but
$100,000. No, $100,000.
I don't think that we should be.
How much of every dollar should they be able to keep?
Why can't they answer that? I'll give you the answer so you can tell your friends and family. The reason why they can't answer that was given to you by the director of the DSA when she said to you, and she didn't realize she was saying what she was saying, is we can't give you a number on how much we're going to tax until we can figure out how much we need to spend. They can never answer the question, how much is enough? What's the fair share? Because there will be never any answer to that question because we just keep having to spend. Someone's going to sit in a room and say, you know what? I'd like to dig a hole over there just to fill it back up again. I'm going to need $100,000 to do it. Gonna have to go tax some people. They can never, ever, and it's becoming universal at this point. I'm not talking about universal health care, universal ignorance. You can tell the look in this guy's eyes. I can't answer this.
It's a simple question. How much are you willing to let the government take? How much? Give us a number.
I want to see a return on our taxpayer investment. We pay
Give us a...
That's not how it works. What do you mean, return on taxpayer investment? Think about what he just said. I'd like to see our return on taxpayer investment. You mean the taxpayers want to see what the return is, right? Because they're the ones investing. Every single one of you has a 401k or you're involved in any sort of business where you're investing into it. You don't want someone else to tell you, I want to see what my investment, that the money you're putting in. He just said it. I have to see what our return is on a taxpayer investment. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, as far as they're concerned, your money is their money. There is no delineation at this point. You don't deserve what you have. We'll let you know what you get to keep when we feel like, we don't need anything else. But if we need anything else, we need to keep taking it from you.
Number. Somebody works hard, makes $100,000 a year. How much of every dollar should they keep?
I'm not interested in changing the tax rate on middle-class Americans, on people making $100,000. I want to raise taxes.
Somebody that
on
makes
$500,000
a year, $500,000 a year, how much out of every dollar should they be able to keep?
It is in proportional to the top marginal tax rate.
Give me a number.
Where if you're making
Oliver, give me a number.
How can you be running for any office and you either can't or refuse to answer a question like this? And yet we're supposed to believe the polls which says, hey, we're close. They're winning. The guy in Maine who's going to tax your ass off, oh, he's way ahead of Susan Collins. What? You can't answer a simple question. How much of my money can I keep? And now you're seeing why these people also are falling for socialism, including some people on the right. I told you what that one woman said to me this morning. You know, she made fun, or tried to make fun, alluded to, all Barry cares about is where the puck is moving to. She used my phrase. And I'm like, I'm in business. That's the only reason I'm doing this. I'm not doing it for my health. I'm not doing it because I had to burn 3 hours today and had nothing else to do. I'm doing it because we're in business. Everybody who has a channel is doing it because they're in business. Some people's business is better than other people's business. Some people are not making as much as other people because of what they do or what they don't do. Some people making a crap load. Some people even are socialist commies and making gazillions, Hassan Piker. So understand, when you're watching these channels, doesn't matter whose it is, people are doing it because they're making money. And so this guy, as well as all the other socialists, they can't give you that number. They want you to keep making money, because if you stop making money, then they can't take it from you. And it just, I mean, the look on this guy's face right here. It's the Mondami look. They all have the same look. I'm gonna screw you to the. You don't even have any idea how bad we're gonna screw you. That laughing Jack crap. You got to recognize it at this point. They all do it, except for Hassan Piker. He just cusses everybody out. But Al Sayed, the video he did today with him dancing, you know, the Blues Clues thing. What are these people appealing to? They're appealing to downright idiots. We have to be adults enough to know we are in a capitalist society. We are interested in doing the best we possibly can. I got to show you guys something. I don't know if you saw this yesterday. I think I posted it yesterday. And it freaked everybody out. I mean, they absolutely lost their minds about this. This post here I put up. I don't know if you guys know this. $12 billion. $12 billion. That's the Lakers got sold. The Lakers, the Los Angeles Lakers basketball team, Lakers are being sold to American businessman Josh Kushner. You know the name Kushner. It's Jared Kushner's brother. And Bob Iger, formerly from Disney. They bought the Los Angeles Lakers for $12 billion. A record-breaking price. $12 billion, Jared Kushner's brother and the former CEO of Disney. The former CEO of Disney who was doing everything he can to promote liberal causes, just spent $12 billion to buy the Los Angeles Lakers. The entirety of liberaldom, after seeing Pat McAfee with Trump and hearing Stephen A., had to wake up and go, wait a second. The Los Angeles Lakers just got bought for $12 billion? And it wasn't Jay-Z and Beyonce? Nope. It was Jared Kushner's brother. And so they immediately tied that to Trump. Wait a minute. So Trump's going to have his hand in with the Los Angeles Lakers? There's no evidence of that, as they like to say. There's no evidence of that. There's no evidence that Jared is involved in the business. There's no evidence that Ivanka is involved with the business. The people who bought it were specifically, I'm sure they had many investors, Josh Kushner and Bob Iger. But the fact that one of the people's name was Kushner caused them all to freak out because, oh my gosh, they just did $1 billion, not $1 billion, a $12 billion transaction. Now, the funny thing is, They didn't have any problem that the people sold it for 12. Oh, yeah, they did. They had a problem because the guy made a quick $3 billion on the sale. He basically flipped an NBA franchise. He only owned it for a couple of years. He bought it from the Dr. Buss's family, and he bought it and he flipped it for a couple $1 billion in profit. Serious capitalism. But then again, that's the same guy who until this year was paying LeBron James. LeBron James played for the Lakers. Y'all didn't have any problem with LeBron James making all kinds of money, living in Los Angeles. Now he's gone. He's heading to Philadelphia. They don't know what to say.
How much out of every dollar should they keep?
It's not that simple.
It's not that simple. You're the one that wants, cradle to grave, womb to the tomb,
Green New Deal. What they put into the system.
Okay, so how much
the Green New Deal,
in your head?
We should have public ownership of utilities.
The DSA people talk a lot about fairness. What is fair for a guy that makes $500,000 a year? Out of every dollar, how much should the government get? Answer the question. Why don't you stop playing games?
The person making $500,000, $1 million a year, they should pay the same rate in Social Security tax as the rest of the working class because there's a Social Security
how much out of every dollar should go to taxes? How much can they keep?
$184,500 a year.
Oliver, this is my last shot, and I'm going to say goodbye.
A billionaire makes into the.
I'm not talking. I asked you $500,000 a year. How much should go to the government out of every dollar? How much should they be able to keep? Answer the question. Be honest, for crying out loud. What's fair?
They should pay the same Social Security tax rate as working class Americans.
Goodbye.
We need to raise the taxable income cap on Social Security.
You don't want to tell your real opinion because you know you will look stupid. To each according to the need, from each according to their ability. That makes you a Marxist. You might want to learn history before you come on the show.
Oh, I love how he closed it on him. Closed the door. Shut up. You don't even know what the hell you're talking about. Oh, my gosh. Before I bring SV on, let me tell you, what did Rush Limbaugh used to call them? Obscene profit breaks. Mine aren't obscene, but nonetheless, they are profit breaks. Let me tell you about Chapter, who has been a longtime partner of the show. Medicare is confusing. And as someone who recently turned 65, not recently, I'm about to turn 66, believe it or not, I can confirm this. Keeping track of enrollment periods, understanding all your options, and making sure the plan you're on is the right plan to be on. It takes a lot of time and energy and know-how. And between Medicare scams, corrupt agents, and bloated insurance companies, it's easy to make mistakes that can cost you thousands. That's why I'm happy I called the guys from Chapter, got in touch with them, and then we decided we're going to work together. They're actually honest, and the only Medicare advisor that looks at every single plan nationwide, and they help people save an average of $1,100 per year, $100 a month. People are relieved when they talk to Chapter because these guys won't push you to buy a plan you don't want, and their support is completely free. Not like socialist free, like really free. Doesn't cost you anything. Their boss pays them. So if you're turning 65 soon or have any questions about your Medicare coverage, call them at 475-328-3545 to get the most out of Medicare. And most people wish they'd call sooner. Or you can go to the website and go to askchapter.org/Barry to book your one-on-one consultation at no charge with no obligation. Just make the call. It's free. 1 20-minute phone call. You won't believe the information you get. I'll be back in 90 seconds to close out.
back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
So I'm going to bring SV on in a second, but I wanted to go over the poll I put up earlier, actually beginning of the show. I asked the question, would you like it if I added live phone calls on the show? 70% of you said yes. 30% of you said no. Not sure why. A couple of people said, aren't you going to be worried what people say? We're going to have some things to work with that. Plus, I have a big button right here. If somebody says something stupid, and we'll have maybe a delay, or I might have to break down and hire an in-house producer. We'll figure it out. One of the changes we're expecting, and trust me, it's going to be different than anybody else you've been hearing who takes calls. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it at that level, and really see if I can't make an impact in the show, and get you guys involved as well. So working on it, working on the equipment, working on the details, figuring out how we can do it safely and legally. And if we can get all the kinks done before September 1st, I'm hoping to launch that on September 1st. And it won't be an everyday type thing. Definitely going to probably, don't want to give out too much information because people steal your ideas. It's coming. Something's coming. All right. So let's just leave it at that for now. What up, man?
All right.
Hey, because you know, people will steal the idea. Okay, you know that, right? They lurk up in here. And they try to see what's going on. And one of the other things is once September or so rolls around, going to go back to doing 2 shows. We're going to do a early show and a late show. I'm trying to think of the times, but some stuff happening. Just to let you guys know.
We like improvements. That's awesome. It's funny. Earlier I was talking about that foot washing thing down in Texas. Cut number 9, Barry. If you go to cut number 9,
go down to the bottom. 9. Oh no.
So apparently it didn't, get memory hold. Some senator says he is now targeting the installation of Islamic foot washing stations inside the Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport.
Can I stop you for a second?
Mm-hmm.
Does it have to be Islamic? Can I just go in and rub my feet?
I like to have my feet rubbed, but I mean,
I'm thinking about this a second. I don't need the prayer and the chant. Just get down there and rub my feet. My plane doesn't take off for an hour. I'm just wondering because they're calling it the Islamic foot washing station. You know what? I could sit back in the chair. Go ahead, rub my feet, wash my toes.
Because it was funded by who, so that's why it's become such an issue. So so Senator Tan Parker just told the board of directors, I object to how this decision was made. DWF is a public asset. Permanent modifications to that asset ought to be made under a published standard, applied even-handedly through a process the public can see. No board vote, no name on the check. DWF is a public airport. So that's what we got. The lower picture shows, people washing their feet. I mean, it's great that we have some good hygiene, but it's more.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait. You got to wash your own feet.
Yeah. You didn't know that?
No.
You didn't know that?
No. I thought it was like a whole thing. You sit in a chair, you relax.
No.
Yeah, have a Diet Coke and a muffin or something while somebody's sitting there rubbing your feet. I'm not interested in that. I don't even do that now.
Next thing there'll be prayer rugs and the 5 a.m. bell. Last snack bar.
So how are they gonna tell the difference between a foot station and a urinal? Because
How about a bidet?
Oh my gosh. No, see, I had a whole different vision. I had a vision of somebody, hopefully a young woman sitting there and like rubbing my feet.
No, you gotta do it yourself, man. You gotta get all that fungus off.
Oh gosh. I'm surprised when I saw that. I'm like, is that just a faucet? Where you're just like hosing down your toes? I got
like
a pool.
Horse trough.
I have a pool. I can do that myself.
Don't ever ask me for that, bro. I'm out.
All right, what's next?
All right, and then cut number 10 is some good news for our president here. So breaking about an hour ago, the 5th Circuit Court of Appeals has dismissed a major lawsuit against President Trump, throwing out a leftist challenge to POTUS deporting illegals through the Alien Enemies Act. Trump goes, they invaded our country. This is time of war because Biden allowed millions of people, tens of millions, many of them criminals, many of them at the highest level. They empty jails out. Other nations empty their jails into the U.S. That's an invasion. So,
okay, SV, bookmark this post because if you look at, I mean, I'm going to have to download the opinion, but if what I'm reading here, if Eric or Nick put the right stuff in here, I want you to think of something. All right. So the Fifth Circuit has dismissed a lawsuit, meaning it went through the district court. The district court must have tried to uphold it. The Court of Appeals now has dismissed it, which means the only other thing they could do is go to the Supreme Court. That doesn't even come into session until October, unless they do an emergency thing. All right. So the lawsuit was thrown out, leftist challenge from deporting illegals through the Alien Enemies Act. The next thing it says, Trump, quote, they invaded our country. This is a time of war, yada, yada, yada. Other nations emptied their jails, and that's an invasion. So conceivably, since they upheld the Aliens Enemy Act, as it says up there, then conceivably come October and November, it could be done at the election. We want to stop the people, the invaders, from it going after our elections.
Insurrection Act. Come on.
You may not even have to call it the Insurrection Act. If this one has been upheld and they can't stop him, I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just reading. That's why I said I got to read the entirety of the thing here because
it only shows you a little bit.
Yeah, that would be very interesting.
But interesting enough, I mean, also having the military at the polling stations. I mean, one way or the other, he's going to get it done. You know he is.
He's like, I'm guarding against the invaders, and that court upheld something, so we may see. What else you got here? Number 8? Oh, no, you did that. No, you did those. Oh, number 7 you didn't do.
The Gainesville, Florida one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We skipped that one.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know if you were going to hit that. Florida once again is ahead of the game. So the city of Gainesville, Florida has caved. The police department has just rescinded a policy that allowed men claiming to be women demand searches by female officers. So the transformerism is losing in Florida. AG James Uthmeyer, he says Gainesville's police department's policy allowing men who identify as women to request searches by female officers prioritizes gender ideology over officer safety and runs head-on into the Florida Civil Rights Act. So the city of Gainesville confirmed today that the unlawful policy has been rescinded. So it needs to be done everywhere. Everywhere.
Again, as I said earlier, there are no coincidences. It's all this stuff is happening and coming together at the same time. And it's very, very interesting. Yeah, interesting times indeed.
Yes,
all right,
sir.
Man. Thank you very much.
I hope you all have a great night. Enjoy
everybody. Yeah, exactly. I'll do super chats and then we shall be gone. Thank you very much, man. Thank you. All right, everybody, let's do some super chatting. And I just want to say, let me go ahead. Well, no, I was going to apologize if tonight's subject matter was a little bit tough on people, but then again, it is what it is. It says here, Mike McDonald says Enos Cantor should change his last name to Kenter. Kenter. Moshe, actually, Adam was the one who called the creation, which Esau woman. Wow, very good. Chiosop, I have called myself a black transformer lesbian for years. I think this is my calling to qualify for the WNBA. Thank you, Enos and Royce, for opening the door. Oh, we all should show up for tryouts. Cheers. When I hear when they go low, where have I heard when they go low, we go high before? Yup, you heard it. That was what's her name? Michelle Obama. Chiosop Griner is a addictomy patient. But maybe that's why they're protecting it. If you think about it, there's a reason why they are so worried about this. Alec, there's also lap a dick off of me surgery. Somebody said Rush Limbaugh used to say that. So it's add a dick to me and lap a dick off of me. Michael Rod, after watching the movie Love Bugs, I personally do not see anything wrong with it. Now you're going to make me go watch that movie. Ernest, why don't they make their own leagues and compete with their own teams like the MNBA does and the WNBA does? They could be the the GL gang. Oh, bang, GL bang NBA. Because there's not enough of them. It's fake. That's why. Alec, when it comes to cabling, there are male and female connectors. Now I'm confused. No, you're not. Andrew, the call to boycott Buc-ee's has gone out. What's wrong with Buc-ee's? Linnell, the country needs an exorcism or an enema. This country needs an enema. Jennifer, fun fact, add a dick to me is an old Rush. Oh, there it is, old Rush Limbaugh pun. Yeah, it's so funny. G Money, this is close to Joseph Mengele style insanity. They must go to prison. Talking about those doctors. I love how they named that new law. I'm not sure if you caught it, but it's called the Wolf in White Gowns or Wolf in White lab coats or something. Appropriate name. Alec, isn't pretending to be a woman cultural appropriation? No, only the blonde wigs and caterpillar eyes. Moshe, Hella doesn't need its own slaughtering house because they can rely on kosher meat because the requirements is just for meat to be ritually slaughtered meat. Good point. Good point. Bazul, my brain wasn't connected to my spinal cord yet at 10. No, things didn't work. Things didn't work at that point. I think it's not until like 11 or 12, you're like, whoa, what just happened? I was looking at Farrah Fawcett and like, bingo. G Money, I'm not sure. I want to know the amount of kids that they have destroyed. Scary. That's why Fauci's got, it's crazy. GSOP again, maybe that's why they can't get an ID. There you go. I can't get an ID because I'm no longer the person on the ID. Good point. Alec, website idea, only goats. You guys are being bad, really bad. Susie, thank you. Barry, you need to create a button on your board that has circus music with clowns for every time they use the big tent. It's a complete circus. Oh, I've got a circus thing here. Let you guys love this when I play this. What, did I still have it here? The circus. I used to have some circus music. Well, it's close to being circus music. I think I deleted it. Oh no, here it is. Here's the. It's close to being circus.
They must go.
SB yells at me every time I play that. Fazil, pliers and screwdriver, kids, learn to use to make money. I'm going to tell you tomorrow about an interaction I had today at the gas station, which was phenomenal. Frank, I can bet 100% Brittany Griner is a man baby. Did you know that she was put into male's prison in Russia? No, I did not. I did not know that. Not weed smoking was his real crime. Wow. Fazil, Pop would just give me the look and I'd hop to it. You bet. Sometimes your parents, that's all they had to give you was that look. My mom had a 3rd grade education. She was the smartest person I've ever known. She helped all 7 of us homework all the way through high school. Yep. Lots of people like that. Mary Kellums, ICE has already started in New York City for Nick Shirley. Awesome. Tom Homan looked pissed. Papa's Pilar. El Sayed gave the 2007 University of Michigan commencement speech. It was like a different person. What happened? It's on YouTube. Radicalized. G Money. If they go woman only, Griner will be out of a job. Well, she's about time for her to retire anyway, I would think. Penny Quarter. People can Google the Middle Eastern slave trade and find out who started slavery and when it ended. Shut those hypocrites up. Bingo. Cheers up again. Thank you. Mondani is subcontracting his supermarkets. Oh, you're right. That's right. He's not even running the supermarkets. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Franco, my dad used to put a hand towel under cold water and then wipe it on our faces to wake us up. He would get that close and you wouldn't even wake up. My goodness. Beverly Litton, Piker also shocked his dog on his podcast. Yep. The only thing the dog had done was walk over Piker as he talked. The dog yelped when shocked and got back in his pallet. What kind of person does that? Nicholas, hi, Barry. Glad you will hopefully be adding phone calls to your great program. I have a lot of things I want to say formally in broadcasting. I understand the technical stuff involved. Yeah, it's a lot of technical stuff, especially if I'm just doing it myself. So we'll have to see. Neo, Barry, thanks for a great show. Sorry, missing your early shows. Watch now while working, missing you. Oh, God bless. Thank you very much, Neo. And Nicholas again, Barry, I hope President Trump picks Kari Lake as a press secretary. So I've heard today there are a couple people that are, I guess, just in the news. Obviously, Kari Lake. One of them is Scott Jennings, which I think would be fantastic. And the other one who I would like to see, but I doubt she would take the pay cut, would be Alina Habba. She would be fantastic, absolutely fantastic. But I don't know. So Alina Habba, Kari Lake, and Scott Jennings are some of the names I've heard thus far. But yeah, any of the three would be absolutely fantastic. All right, I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great evening.
Network.